Let me change this out so everybody remembers where we left off, of course, I assume.
Yeah, we were still in the cavern thing.
Yeah, and you guys had just fought off the Leshen, those Rimir, one of those Rimir types, that ran near the end of the fight there. You were, from what Quill told you, he can change his shape or size, and he essentially made himself to where you guys couldn't see him and then ran.
Yeah.
So you guys were still in the middle of that chamber here.
Funny enough, is in a different game, I ended up finding a Leshen. I didn't win, ended up dying, but
Yeah.
now I know what they actually do and like the effects, and I'm like, oh, this.
Yeah, so they're actually in historical mythology they're called a Leshy, Leshy. In Witcher 3 and in some other fantasy games, they've called them a Leshen. You know, it's like
well,
that.
it was a Witcher 3 crossover to Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah, okay. So I bought that, but I didn't play any of it yet. Like
Monster Hunter World?
Yeah, I bought it for the Xbox and I played maybe an hour, like the intro to it, and I just don't like Japanese style games anymore. I loved them when I was a kid, but having fucking weapons that look like they're 450 pounds, and you know you're playing like a little 160 pound kid swinging that shit around, like I can't stand that kind of lack of realism.
Well, it's not bad, but like it's really grindy. You have to grind killing bosses for like the weapons and stuff, and it's actually not bad. You could drop it and pick it up because the quests reappear, so that's why I like it. So it's not too bad. It's my kind of thing for that.
That's cool.
Yep.
I didn't realize they put a Leshen in there though. But yeah, now you actually get to see what that.
It's through a special mission, so you have to talk to somebody, and then you're basically it's a Witcher that portaled into the Monster Hunter world. So you play as the.
Is it Ciri or Geralt? Is it the
Geralt?
Okay.
Geralt.
Yeah. I think there's a Ciri mission as well. She's.
I haven't gone there. I haven't progressed into that one because I couldn't kill the Leshen.
Yeah. They're really hard in The Witcher as well. So, anyway, all right. So, audio levels okay? Everybody can hear the background.
I'm gonna put it up a bit because I have a lot in my background.
Okay. There's little popping sounds that I don't like in this one, but it's actually supposed to be torches. Like it's supposed to sound like poppy. Just was probably a bad design choice, I guess. But
so it's supposed to be fire.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's a torch that's like little popping sounds from the torch, but it sounds like an audio distortion. So it actually annoyed me at first until I realized it's supposed to be the torch.
Yeah.
So you guys are in the chamber here that the Leshen just ran from. Quill was kind of watching the door there. He kind of turns around and looks at you guys. He says, well, I guess we probably don't need to worry about him, at least for the moment. Do you mind if I take a rest here? I got a little dinged up in that.
That's fine with me.
Anybody else need any bandages or anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, but stand guard for a minute.
He
So
says,
I will watch this way.
Yeah, he said, well, looking over at that other door, he actually closes this one that he's standing beside, and that one was blown open when the wolf and the crows came flying in, remember? He says, do you mind closing that one just so we have a little bit of head notice if they start coming in? And he goes over to the wall there and sits down and starts bandaging up his knee. While he's kneeled down there, kind of wrapping this cloth around his knee, he asks, so, I mean, at least from what Pepperjack said, it sounds like you guys were just in with the refugees?
Yeah.
And he just conscripted you on? He just says, here, go do this, and you guys agreed? You realize this is dangerous work, right?
Yeah, we're used to dangerous work.
I just shrugged.
As soon as he's done kind of bandaging up his knee, he pulls out a little notebook that you've seen him kind of, drawing in and taking notes down. He starts kind of jotting some notes down again in it. He says, I'll be ready here in just a minute if you guys, want to keep on moving. If you guys want to take a break, I don't mind, but it's up to you.
Well, I'm gonna loot stuff first.
Okay. You guys, if you want to, you guys can, take a short rest here. You are pretty tapped out on resources, but it's up to you. I don't think anybody's hurt. Yeah, you guys healed up with you guys healed up with Fox's spirit, but resource-wise. You guys, like Fox, you have no spell slots left.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's showing me they're all here.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Did you use
No,
them all?
you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
no,
all
I
filled
use
with-
them all.
Okay.
For some reason, even though the way I have my thing set, it keeps bringing up my beast page instead.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
they're not used there, but they're used on the other.
Yeah. I think, Becky, what did you used to do? Did you load your animal shape one first and then load your regular one for Nybara? Is that how you got around it? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh, it's because it's the way I saved it. Like I tried closing both and then loading one and then the other, but every time I use the layout load, it loads it the other way.
Oh, okay. The where your windows load for your windows and everything.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to load these. It is about 4 a.m. On Fire's Day, the Friday, basically. So what that means, at least as far as for Sarah, didn't you cast your mage armor right at the beginning of the big battle in the mud?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was about midnight-ish, so you're about halfway through. You still have your mage armor for a while. Your Dragon's Breath Rebel would have fallen by now, though, and Arteme, your Spear, would have fallen by now, too.
My what, sorry?
Your Healing Spirit?
Oh.
It's been a minute now that you guys have sit down, so. But for Arteme, if you guys do decide to take a short rest, your natural recovery, you can get up to 3 levels of spell slots back on Arteme.
Okay, yeah.
So you can take 1/3 level, or 1 second and 1 first, something like that, up to 3 levels, basically. If you guys choose to take a short rest.
It's fine with me.
It would be useful.
G, do you get anything back on short rests? Your rages are long rests, aren't they?
I think I get everything besides rages back on short rest so far.
Cool. Alright. Yeah, so, I mean, if you guys want to do... Well, are you going to sit down and take a break, then?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll keep watching this one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sleep during that or anything. You just gotta, not be up and moving around too much. Like, you can still be doing light work, just nothing heavy. All right, let me apply the short rest for you. Fox, go ahead and give yourself back up to 3 levels of your spell slots, assuming you're going to use your natural recovery.
Wait, 3 levels. So I get 3 back?
So you can either take 1/3 level spell slot back, or 1 second and 1 first, or 3 level 1 slots.
Yeah, let me see what my spells are.
Yeah, whatever you have prepared for the day. You can't change out what you have prepared, but you can give yourself some spell slots back. That's your natural recovery. If you look at your... it's under your abilities section. Right now you get 3. It's basically half of your druid level rounded up. So 2.5. You're at level 5, so 2.5 rounded up is 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at my... Yeah, I'll do it that way. That's gonna be better.
1 second and 1 first. Cool. Why is the whip missing off of your sheet again?
No clue. Right, I wanted to take a better look at that web to make sure it's not actually a creature.
Because I had it... Well, I mean, I added the... That's weird, because
Yeah, it was there before we left.
Yeah, and then... Well, you couldn't see it last week, remember? And then I
I
put
could see it before the end, yeah.
Oh, okay, it just
I
took a while
couldn't
to
keep
show
it
up.
long this time. Yeah, it finally showed up.
Okay.
And I said, like, oh, now I see it.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
I
Well, I
think.
added the item, but well, I added the special effect in there for you. It's back on if you look in your item section. In fact, I had that in my primer to go over with you guys too. So that's back there specifically for the tripping. So if you're going to try to trip somebody with it, it's a DC 14 that they have to beat. It only works on large or smaller, so large, medium, small, etc. That you can try to trip. If they're huge, it won't work. And then the other thing I had is, Becky, do you remember? So halfling speed is supposed to be 25 feet, not 30. But didn't you take something that got it up to 30?
Yeah, I think it was my... Oh, hang on, let me double check. I think it was my nimbleness thing. Maybe not.
Maybe like the sub-race that you picked or something? Halfling nimbleness?
Space, no. That's so I can move in creature spaces.
Yeah.
Let's see. One of these.
Oh, I found it. It's squat nimbleness. So you have halfling nimbleness and squat nimbleness. It was the halfling racial feat that you chose. Strength or dex by 1 up to 20. Increase walking speed by 5 feet. So that's why. Because I'd seen it in there that the speed, because there's a little check thing, and I saw that it was supposed to be, or it thought it was supposed to be 25. but I was pretty sure you had something to boost it up to 30. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. While he's kind of jotting these, while Quill is over there in the corner jotting these things down, he's kind of mumbling to himself as he's murmuring over this. It looks like you get the impression while he's kind of mumbling into himself and writing these down that he's still recording what happened at the battle of Sodden Field. Yeah, Sodden Field. And kind of recording some of the stuff in here too, but he basically wasn't done with that, it sounds like. And from what you guys had seen, of course, the losses were pretty heavy there. But he's still kind of writing that down, and there's kind of a solemn look on his features as he's writing these down. So, you guys do anything in particular during the rest, or just relaxing and keeping an eye out?
I'm gonna search through.
I'll quietly play my lute a little bit. Just quietly, though.
Play your lute. Okay.
Yeah.
So Becky's trying to loot, and you're trying to play your lute. I was confused for a second.
I'll make some loot music with my lute.
Oh, right. Is there anything like around the room that's useful? Any like chests, containers?
Well, so there's a couple. They're pretty badly smashed up, but there's a door right to your right for Arteme, basically one on either side of Arteme that you guys haven't checked yet. The door that Norok is staring at right now, that one was blown open when the Leshen kind of smashed the doors open to pull his summoned creatures in. So you guys saw into that, and that just looked like a bare hallway, but you haven't seen the two rooms that you're next to.
Okay, I'll check this one out again.
Okay. Are you guys done resting, or are you doing this during your rest?
During the rest?
Okay. Before that, for Sarah checking that box over there, it's smashed to bits, and inside of it, like the lid is pretty badly smashed. Basically, you can see square into it. Inside of it is an old like burlap style cloth that is pretty badly rotted away. But you don't see anything in there. Like even if you were to dig through it, it doesn't appear to be anything of value there.
Okay.
Checking that door, I guess tell me specifically what is Arteme doing with that door?
To see if it's locked, if I could open it to go and check into the...
Okay. You turn the doorknob and it doesn't turn. It doesn't turn at all, I guess is how I'll put that. It's like frozen in place.
Okay. Is there a locking mechanism or anything like that?
There is a hole in the front, yeah. But it's a round hole.
Round hole. Okay, so it might have a key.
I just realized that I'm hearing bird sounds in this torchlit dungeon. Are you guys hearing that?
Yeah, a bit.
I think. Hang on, let me pause that. Okay, so it's not coming from there. Oh, you know what? It's coming from the rest. That's what it is. Okay.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, why are these stupid bird sounds coming from there? It's from Sirenscape. I just killed that. So, gee, like that's you'll notice those things happen from time to time when you're running them, where you will have long running sounds that just continue in Sirenscape. So you just hit the stop button to make it quit. So, anyways.
Yeah. I need to pay attention to that. Yeah.
I just noticed it right now. I was like, why the hell are there birds in this dungeon? But anyways, you check the door though. The doorknob feels like it's like frozen solid, not cold, but it just like frozen, as in the lock won't turn or the doorknob won't turn. But there is a hole in the front. It does look like it would be for a key, potentially.
Okay.
Sarah's checking that box in the corner there too.
Yep.
So if I rattle the door, it won't open at all.
Correct. Even rattling it's like solid. It's like frozen solid. That
check
box
this one,
similarly. Okay. That box similarly doesn't appear to have anything major in it. Make an investigation check on Sarah. You reach your hand into this one, and there similarly is a kind of old cloth in it, and you kind of move the cloth out of the way, pick it up a little bit just to get it out of the way, and you hear a clinking sound as a piece of metal hits the floor. The bottom of the box is so rotted out that there's almost no wood there. Basically, just hits the stone floor.
So this door opened?
That one similarly, the door feels like it's frozen in place. They're
Okay,
both
so
wood
it's either-
doors, and the doors are essentially like petrified wood at this point. But both of the doorknobs feel like they're like frozen.
Okay, so it's either a spell or they're just swollen shut.
Yeah, you can.
Or-
I mean, you haven't made any roll. I guess tell me what it is you're looking for, and we'll go from there. As far as like if you're, checking to see if they are maybe arcanically locked, or if it's just a mechanical thing, or just age, etc.
I guess I try with age first.
Okay, just make a perception check then. What's Sarah doing with the noise?
Trying to find it.
Okay. You reach down to the floor there. It's really dark in this corner. Like there's a brazier right there, but because of you kind of have to be blocking it essentially with your back to be able to look down in there. It takes you a minute to find it, but not a few seconds anyways to pull it out. But it's basically a long, thin piece of iron, actually, like old rusted iron, and almost like a toothbrush shape. Basically, one side of it's just long and cylindrical, and the other end has like a thumb, a place where you'd hold onto it.
Alright, guess I'll hand it to Arteman, tell her to give this a try on the doors.
Okay. I'll grab it and try it.
Okay. In trying to turn the doorknob, yeah, this one similarly feels frozen. It does feel like it's probably aged, like the mechanics, the mechanical lock inside of this thing is probably so old that it's begun to kind of fall apart. The metals in here, by the way, are mostly iron with a little bit of brass. So it's age-wise, this is, you gather, likely before steel became a thing. So historically, we're talking a very long time ago, of course. In narrative, we're talking 2,100 or so years before. So, equivalent, real-world equivalent, we're talking ancient Egypt, basically, like early Egypt, or late
Okay.
Egypt, rather. So brass, like before steel, essentially. But the chunk of iron that she hands you does fit through the doorknob. It's basically just the cylindrical end. Like there's no teeth like keys would usually have. But it does. Do you guys remember the last session? I know obviously that was 2 weeks ago. You found a key. Do you remember?
Yeah, that L-shaped key.
Okay. So that key
Yeah.
definitely does not fit this. It looks very different than that. But who was carrying that? Do you remember?
I don't even remember who found it at this point. I don't know if I wrote it down.
I think I picked it up.
Yeah, Sarah definitely found it initially because it was sitting inside that coiled up rope, that whip that you have.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember who picked it up. So is Sarah holding it then?
Yeah, I think I grabbed it.
Okay.
Okay,
Miss-
I'd made a note about locks with an L-shaped key, but I never put a note about finding.
Yep. Yeah, you found the two doors in the first room were the locks on them had an L shape. But go ahead and make assume if Sarah had looked at it, let's say, or would be looking at it, go ahead and make I guess investigation check on Sarah for kind of checking out the key. For Arteme, you put the natural 20. You put this iron one though in the doorknob, and when you push it all the way forward, you feel kind of a clicking feeling on the inside. But it's like there's a button essentially that's in the way back of this lock, and you're kind of pushing that. It's kind of what it feels like. So it clicks, and then as soon as you pull the key away, or this chunk of iron, as soon as you pull it away, it like clicks back in place again, and the doorknob doesn't turn. So you push it back in until it kind of presses that, and then turn the doorknob, and it's really rusted and kind of stuck in place, but you can get it to turn as long as you're kind of pushing the key in really hard and then turning the doorknob with the other hand.
Okay, so I'm able to open it?
You're able to get the doorknob open enough that the door clicks and the door is still frozen in place. And
Okay,
that
so
you're pretty sure is based on your previous roll. You're pretty sure it's just because it's just swollen from age.
I'd ask Norak to try and open it. He'd have a bit more strength to be able to, like, force it from 8.
I'm gonna give it a good smash, G.
Okay.
All right. Then while you're going over there to check that out, and Sarah's, getting out of the way to not get, covered in door splinters, probably. You got a natural 22. Both of you got natural 20s, right in order, or right back to back.
Nice.
Looking at the L-shaped key. Now that you're kind of taking a minute, thinking, would this key work? You taking a second to look at it, and it doesn't feel like it's made of metal at all. In fact, it feels almost earthen. It feels almost stone now, but you gather that this probably had been clay at one point, or something of an earthenware feel originally, and has just with age basically turned into almost rock. But it definitely doesn't resemble the steel or the iron one that you handed to Arteme. So.
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you?
I was just gonna say, what, athletics or strength or what? For the door?
Probably go ahead and make an athletics check if you're just gonna try to elbow the door. By the way, when it turned far enough, the doorknob stuck the far side. So good thing you actually, with your disadvantage, you still rolled really well. You got a 13 and a 13, so for a total of 20. But you elbow the door and it just pops right open. The inside of this room is pretty nondescript. You don't really see much that stands out. Hang on, I gotta get back in mask mode here and find my version of the map. There it is. Okay. This room is pretty boring.
Sorry, was able to get the key out to try the other door while he's opening that one, or was the key stuck?
Well, he gave it a good whack, and the door popped open, but the key is still sticking out of it. You're trying to pull it out?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the key out and try the other door.
The doorknob is wrenched to the right. Basically, as soon as you turned it enough to get it to unlock the door, the doorknob kind of froze in that position, and you try to pull the key out, and it's not coming out. And you're gonna have to try harder. But that doorknob, just there's a collapse in the corner, or that door rather, just a collapse in the corner of the room. Otherwise, appears empty. You do notice that there are no cobwebs or anything in that room.
That's not creepy. I'm being a tiny bit sarcastic because if this place has not been used too much, there would kind of be.
Go ahead and make any of you that care to think on why that might be the case. Go ahead and make a intelligence check.
So when I was looking at the door, it wasn't like it was completely sealed. I'm sure there was gaps because it was holding, right?
It was swollen
from looking at the door.
Place. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was basically swollen into place, and then just because it hadn't been opened in a very long time, it had kind of petrified its way into place. Another natural 20. And actually, your roll wasn't even that bad either, G. 14 and an 11. Is Sarah? What's Sarah doing?
Sarah's just standing back and watching them.
Okay. Arteme, having looked in the room, though, to try to grab that key back out of the door, you recognize, of course, that this room, despite the rubble, apart from the rubble, is surprisingly clean. And you've noticed that rooms that, let's say, had occupants so far in this place have been clean like this. And especially being, in tune with nature, would recognize that something is probably eating the insects that would otherwise be in here, and hence the webs and things like that were probably either eaten as well or not allowed to propagate in the first place because the insects were already devoured. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So there might be another chest or something else in this room.
You have seen so far, let's see, there was the chest, the table, a door, a scroll case, and then the lesson, which was in the shape of a chair when you guys came in here, remember?
Okay, and the riddle was...
What riddle?
I didn't write it down. When we first came in, wasn't there the voice which was laughing and then said something about... Then there was the laughing spell, and then there was the voice saying something about a chair, table, and something.
That was actually the joke. That was the source of the laughing. That was part of the casting of that spell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was basically that spell. It's a hideous laughter. It's a Tasha's hideous laughter, I think is what it's called. Part of that is essentially something in the words of it is usually a joke, and that joke is what causes the laughter, despite it not being very funny.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. But
Yeah.
it's similar to what we thought, so I just thought it was running with that.
Yep. Intuiting the position of that and where you heard the sounds escaping the room, the kind of sweeping sounds, you know what, actually, even from the corner, Quill stands back up again, and he's kind of putting his book away. And he mentions that, you guys would probably want to be careful anyways, because if that thing is still alive and in here and watching you wouldn't really know, and it could cast that spell again, is what he says. So if we start, if you get the insatiable urge to chuckle, say something first. What he's telling you is that it was the Leshen that cast that spell.
Okay.
And then it ran and came into this room to try to hide, and then you guys kind of, well, he thought Norak was going to try to sit on him. But you've checked that door. That room is largely empty, just again with rubble. That's pretty much it. But, unless you get close to something, you may not find anything there. You don't know whether there is anything in that room or not. It could have, gone elsewhere, or so on. There was a small space under the door, and you know that these things are able to have a liquid form when traveling. So, in that, you had a liquid pseudopod stuck to the sides of your head, for example, for Fox, or for Arteme.
Okay.
But you still have the other door in the northwest there, and well, there's still basically doors for you guys to check if you guys are resuming with that.
Alright. Closer inspection, anything out of the ordinary? Anything besides this clean rocks, rubble?
Make an investigation check. No, you look around in there pretty thoroughly, actually, and you're pretty confident that there isn't anything left in there.
Okay.
Okay, so there's nothing, there's no chest or anything to look at either?
Correct. In that room.
Okay. I'm gonna try again for the key. Would that be a strength threat?
Yeah. Yeah, you try to grab onto it, but there's just not enough of a handhold to get the key to turn inside the lock. The lock is kind of broken, it feels like, on the inside. You could try one more time, or basically Norak or Sarah can try, but you feel like that's going to end up breaking. Like the key itself is old rusted iron, and it could break off inside the lock if you try too much more. So I'll give you guys one more shot. Whoever wants to try it.
I'll look over to Norak and say, "Can you gently take this out again?"
I don't mind trying, but if it's not brute force, I probably shouldn't, because I have disadvantage right now and stuff. So if it's finesse, I'll probably end up breaking it. So.
You know what? I would say, okay, tell you what. After he says that, Arteme, you're kind of thinking to yourself, maybe finesse might be the way to go. I'll let you try it as a dex check if you prefer. I think your dex is probably higher.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay. Oh, they're actually the same? Yeah, they're both +2. Never mind. But it's a much better roll
They're both
anyways.
+2, but one of them is 15, the other one's 14.
Yeah. But a much better roll in this case anyways. So you hold the lock still with one hand and then just kind of twist the key in place. Since it's just a cylinder, there's nothing on the inside that's going to rotate. So you just kind of hold the lock in and then just twist it, like unscrewing. Well, you've probably never done this. Have you ever lost a drill bit in a wall before?
Sort of.
Okay, so kind of like that. Like the drill bit, twists in place, but if it unscrews from the end of the drill, then it can get stuck. So usually you would grab pliers or something, and that's essentially what you're trying to do with your hand. You kind of rotate it out, like twisting it backwards, like unscrewing it almost. And it does kind of over time. It takes you a second, and it makes a very awkward screeching sound of metal on metal. But you are able to extract it out of the lock.
I'll put it in the other door and try and open.
Okay. This one actually, when you put it in, you feel that same kind of a buttony feel on the end of it, and this time it turns just fine. The door still feels, pretty solid, but with a good solid shove, you're able to kind of push the door open. All right, this room.
Sorry, I'm just gonna put some lights on. I'll be back.
Okay. Which one is this? What's Sarah doing?
Probably standing behind her.
Okay. So you guys finished Critical Role completely now? What'd you think?
It was really good. I still haven't done the one shot yet, though. Where they look for grog.
Yeah, the search for grog. That was a fun one. The live ones are a little harder to keep the same kind of pace because they are, playing to an audience a bit more there. They kind of have to, just because you have, X number of thousand people watching that are not just watching from home. So there's a little bit of, even if it's unintentional, playing to the audience there. So for me, they're a little less fun, but, I understand why that kind of helps keep the attention good for them. Okay, this room here, the door kind of pops open and it's a little bit loud, but this room, where the other one was basically empty, this one is pretty full. There's a table that takes up most of the space in this room, and there are piles of rolled up vellum scrolls inside of them. They don't look aged, basically. Vellum, doesn't age quite the way that parchment or paper would. There's a heavy iron lever that's jutting out of the western wall, and right now it's in the up position. But basically a room full of scrolls, and as soon as he sees that, like Quill is kind of, eyes are quite wide. He obviously looks very excited, and is trying to, very politely and gently get past you to go look through the scrolls.
That's where I was gonna go.
I mean, he's not being rude about it. He says by all means, and he kind of, motions for you to go ahead.
I'll grab a couple and toss them.
Okay, you going inside?
Carefully. Yeah.
Okay. He's going to step inside the room and start looking through them as well. He says if you find anything interesting, I would love to see it.
Same to you.
Make. Who else is going in the room? Sarah's going in the room too.
Yeah.
Okay. What is Sarah doing? You going to look through the scrolls? You just going to be, keeping an eye out for stuff with barrels, etc. What?
Can I get into the barrels?
Like climb into the barrels?
What? Oh, well, crap. Never mind, they're a lot taller than I am, aren't they?
I mean, they're you're like eye level with them basically. But yeah, I mean, you could pop the lid off and look in if that's what you're trying to do. It'll be a little awkward, but you can probably tippy toe to make it work.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Mage Hand though.
Okay. Go ahead and make investigation checks on Arteme and Sarah. Is Norak just watching the door?
Yeah, just looking around.
Okay. Make a perception check on Norak. Jeez, dude. Okay, there's got to be something weird because you have disadvantage. You rolled 2 natural 20s. You got a natural 20, like the end roll is a natural 20 plus 1 for 21, and you dropped a 20.
Nice.
Yeah, odds of that are extremely low, and then there were 2 back-to-back natural 20s earlier from one from Arteme, one from Sarah, and then Arteme got another natural 20 on an intelligence check. So we've had 5 natural 20s in the first, 20, 25 minutes or so of the game. Anyway.
We really aren't the natural ones anymore.
Yeah, really. Yeah. We'll have to switch out, put Ghost in the natural ones, and you guys will be the natural 20s instead. G, you are hearing a very faint voice coming from the other side of the wall that you're standing beside. It's a woman's voice, and you can't quite make out the words, but it sounds like a very fragile and small woman's voice. Not a kid's voice, but like a what's what I'm looking for? Like melodic, I guess, almost, coming from this wall right here. Hang on, right there. Nobody else is hearing that, by the way. Well, at least not from that angle. But you're like it's super faint, and it sounds like it's on the other side of that wall. Sarah, looking through you open the barrels, and as soon as you pop the lid, it is like the most disgusting potential smell you could have in there. Make a con save. Just barely enough. You almost start vomiting. The smell in this thing was clearly at some point filled with fish that have long since rotted away, but the the smell that was encapsulated inside of this barrel has kind of held for a very long time, and the barrel itself is essentially stone, so all of that is just kind of hitting you square in the face as soon as you open it, because you're basically at eye level with it. But you managed to keep your lunch down, only just. But it seems like the barrel probably didn't, or these barrels probably were supplies, and this room seemed like it was a larder of some kind, is what you're gathering. Arteme, in reading over as much as you can of these, you actually don't recognize this language. Sarah, well, you don't know that, but Sarah can read parts of this language. Arteme definitely does not know it, but you can tell just by the kind of the shape and the what's the word I'm looking for? The order.
Calligraphy.
Well, it's not even that. It's not the scripting itself. It's not like the font essentially. It's specifically the layout of it, and that there's 2 columns, numbers on one side, and words you can't read on the other. So you gather that these mostly are ledgers. They're well, I mean, even in fact, actually, you're looking over these. Quill kind of tells you that these look like they're probably records of the quartermaster, whoever was here at some point, records of the supplies here, that kind of thing. He tells you that the language this is colloquial Mephuan. This is, they're kind of general spoken dialect, not the official, not the stuff you would, carve on a headstone or anything of that sort, but just kind of the way that people would talk. Sarah, you've seen that language a few times. You between that though, Sarah, like you could probably pick out a few words, but you guys are able between you and Quill, anyways, to recognize enough words of this to get the general intent of most of the scrolls. Most of them are basically like tally sheets and inventories, that kind of thing. Just records of the Mephuan quartermaster who is responsible for maintaining the supplies of the garrison here from a couple thousand years ago. But there is one larger scroll that Arteme you find at the bottom of these, and it's larger in that the scroll is longer. It's not just like a single sheet of paper essentially. It's much longer. It's still the same width, and it's written in paragraphs though, like a long letter. But the words are too foreign for you to decipher it. You do recognize between you and Sarah, you guys recognize the word danger in it, and it's written numerous times throughout this.
Okay, I'll ask Sarah if she can make any more of it out.
Make an intelligence check on Sarah. That's a good roll. Reading over this one, you can pick out a lot of the words, not all of them. This is the proper dialect, basically. So are you guys familiar with like Spanish, a lot of the Romance languages? Fijian does this. Urdu does this. A lot of languages have like the proper version, and then like the version that people actually talk in. You guys know what I'm talking about? French does that, for example, the Romance language.
Yeah, I know. French has a lot of that. It's like you have to write this way, but you can talk this way, and then it's just so confusing.
Yeah. So like Latin, Spanish, French, and Romanian. That doesn't sound right. The 4 Romance languages, anyways, all have their. A lot of languages do this, but those are the most common ones that are still. Well, half of those are still spoken today. Anyway, this is the formal version, though. The version that is usually not spoken, but the kind that is usually written, things like that. And what you're able to pick out, though, Sarah, is one, it's dated from 114 DE, which is 2100 something years ago. It's a note from the people, from someone here in Dunskathak, that they were expecting some kind of a shipment from Vindi, and you do know from your history studies, anyways, that Vindi is what is now Mist. So the center of the empire was at that time was Vindi, Vindi. Here. And the Mephuans at that time were, this was all part of their kingdom, essentially. This is long before the Empire, of course. Anyways, what it says, though, what you're able to pick out of it is that they were expecting this shipment, and you can't understand quite what it was that was in the shipment, or they may not say. You're not really sure whether it's, that they were not saying what it is, or just that, maybe they didn't know. But the word of what it was supposed to be doesn't translate. You don't know this word, but it was exceptionally dangerous, and it came from what is now Mist, basically the capital city of Mist. You can understand that it's under Mist somewhere, but it was supposed to be coming here. What's that?
What was the date?
114 here, and right now it's 2292. Oops.
Okay, I'm just putting notes.
Yeah. It's 3/4 of the way through 2292. It's August right now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I write the date every time we start.
The calendar thing, if you guys ever care to see it, you can click the calendar thing in the top right, and you'll see little colored marks on specific dates. I usually put those notes in there, so if there's ever specific things that you want me to note on there, just let me know, and I'll put those in. Otherwise, if you double-click on any of the dates that have a little blue or a red button, then you'll see the notes that I've entered for what happened on that day. You guys see that?
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, that's awesome.
But I mean, you guys, if there's anything specifically you want me to note in there that I don't already have noted, then just let me know. But that basically will give you an idea of how long things have been. Like, for example, the second, if you look back to the second, that was the date that the Crow Blinders attacked you guys when you guys were with the Chain, and the Vabian Legion was still kind of walking you out of the desert. That's when they attacked. So that was Monday, and today's Friday. And you guys went to the Mio Tau and everything during that time. So, anyways, that letter though, that shipment, exceptionally dangerous, and it never arrived. And it doesn't specify why. It's just this basically a missive of how to handle the hazards of and protect the people here from it once it arrives. But the last line makes it sound like it never arrived. And that's basically it. It's the end of it just says that it never showed up, but they don't know what happened to it. They were just basically making preparations for when it got here. But Quill is elated at this, and asks if you don't mind if he takes that.
I don't care. It's not a spell. Don't mind finding stuff for history as clues, write down the clues, and then just move on. But unless it's spells, I don't normally.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So basically, looking through, you guys have between the three of you gone through every scroll in here now, and they're basically that. A lot of them are tallies. Some of them, there are others that are written, but they're not anything interesting, as far as you can tell, and most of them are written in that colloquial sense. The only one that's written in the formal is that letter that we just went over. And then there is that lever sticking out of the corner of the room over there. It's right over here. Whoops, I pointed the arrow the wrong way, but so there's a lever sticking out of the wall there that is in the up position right now, and that's it. As far as you guys is looking over this room.
Sorry, what is that?
There's a lever.
Something
There's a handle sticking out of the wall.
I'm gonna look around to see if there's any holes in the walls or anything else, because I don't want to pull that and end up being.
You don't want it to be a trap.
Or fall through the floor.
Yeah. Alright, make an investigation check. What's Sarah doing?
Seeing she's gonna try to pull that, I'm stepping out of the door.
Quill looks at you. He says, that's probably a good idea. He says, I'll stand right here. If we need to rescue you, then I'll hop in quick, I promise. I mean, I'll pull it if you want.
I'll pull it.
Okay. Your check wasn't great.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm gonna go here and use my whip to pull it.
Okay. The new one or your thorn whip?
My thorn whip, I'm not touching the new one until inspect it a bit better.
Okay.
Make sure it's not a creature.
Alright. You kind of snap the thorn whip out. The handle moves easy, and it doesn't nothing in this place has moved easy. So it was actually almost a surprise where it takes you very little effort to kind of yank the handle down, and the lever slides down smoothly, and as soon as it does, you hear a rumbling behind you. Norak, the wall that you're facing starts to slide open, where a chunk of the stone that had been, it looked flush, but slides into the wall in the corner, basically revealing an open, not a doorway, but just a hole in the wall, basically, where that had been. Revealing this room here, which let me get back into mask mode here. Well, since Nork was already staring at this door, let me go ahead and delete this too. There. since Norak was already kind of staring at the wall here. From behind you, Arteme, you hear this, and then of course Sarah and Norak hear it a little louder. You hear a woman's voice, lilting, sounding weak but elegant, echoes from in that room, and it says, "Hello, is someone there? Help me."
Oh.
Coming from in that room, that door that just opened. You heard that over the kind of stone on stone scraping sound as the wall swung open.
I'll ask, how did you end up getting stuck in there?
Huh?
I'll ask, how did you end up getting stuck in there? I'm assuming that's the only way in and out. Do I see another where I'm looking? Another door?
You see what I've revealed there. You see on the far wall here, basically the room straight ahead of you, you see a huge weapon rack that's covered in just gleaming sharp things. There's a long glaive with a wide blade at one end, and it's kind of reflecting the dancing lights of the green braziers here. A well-polished broadsword, a dozen or so other shiny metal implements, all very shiny and well cared for, and a mesh rope net, like a net that's made out of mesh rope. And the rack itself looks sturdy and well kept. Around the corner, Nora can just barely see. There's an old rotted bed in the other corner of the room with a shimmering green cloak that's laying on, that's just kind of thrown over the sunken mattress. The mattress is long since like rotted away basically, and the 4 wooden bedposts are like rotted, like the wood is just completely destroyed now. And beside that bed is an old rotted wooden chest, but it's open, and there's stuff inside that looks very well cared for as well. It looks like it's full of treasures. But when you call that out, that woman's voice, very, very melodic and kind of ethereal in tone, it sounds elvish basically, and she calls out. She says, "Don't trust him."
Okay, just to be sure that it's actually there, and not a mirage or something, I'm going to pull my magnet out and hold it up and see if any of those weapons start to move on the rack. Those shiny, by the way, weapons that are not old and rusty.
What's the range on your magnet?
Oh, actually, let me take a look.
You did get it back, right? You used it on that scorpion, but you did take it back? You didn't leave it there?
Yeah,
right?
I still had it in my hands because I was holding him down. I didn't leave it there. So
15
I don't
foot
think
line.
it says.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
All metals, and it's pointed out
15-foot
within
line.
15-foot line, so you'd have to be closer. You'll have to step inside the room for it to work.
I could
Okay.
use Mage Hand. That's 30 feet away. Try and touch him.
Alright, then I'll move. I'm assuming you said that to me, right?
Uh-huh.
You're standing behind me, so I'll move out of the way and let her see if she can do that.
You gonna try to mage hand it?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
gonna try to like.
Just in
pick
case
one
that
up, see
weapon
if it
rack is
moves.
a shapeshifter, is what I was thinking.
Okay. So what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to like grab one of the things and pick it up or move it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever looks lightest.
Okay. There's a couple of smaller daggers on there and short swords, things like that. But you just grab one and pull it away, and it lifts up normal, floats in the air. You can bring it all the way back to yourself.
Okay. I will.
But from where you're standing now, there does not appear to be a person in this room. You don't see a source of that voice from inside the room.
I checked the cloak.
Yeah, I'm
You're
gonna
going
step
inside?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you step inside the door, you hear the woman's voice again, and she says, I don't know where he is, just be careful. He could still be in here. But don't trust him.
in. Okay.
Where are you is the better question.
She says, I don't know, it's dark, I can't see. I've been
Is the
asleep
room
for
dark?
a while. No. I mean, it's your guys' it would be dark, yes, but your guys' like your dancing light. You had your dragon's breath up, so you would have dropped your dancing lights. But Arteme's light, and then the braziers that are in the room that Norak and Quill are still in, like that light is spilling in. Like you can see just fine in there. The new Fantasy Grounds version, they just did the Kickstarter, and I already upgraded mine to the new version that has all the lighting effects and stuff. Have I shown you guys that yet?
No.
Nope.
It's pretty cool. Like, basically we'll have proper line of sight, so wherever you move your token, it'll show you what you can see and can't see based on whether you have light or not, that kind of stuff. It'll basically
sounds
defog
great.
the boar. Yeah, it's really cool. Adds weather effects, all kinds of cool stuff, so I'm pretty excited about it.
15. I'm gonna try to touch the chest with my mage hand.
Okay. Just kind of flicking it, trying to whack it, seeing if it wakes up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't. It is full of very interesting looking things, though. From here, there's a you see a cloak in there, like a very resplendent and rich looking red cloak with gold trim. Then there's the green cloak that is laying on the bed is like kind of, now that you can see it from a different angle, it's kind of glimmering, like shimmering a little bit, like that's changing colors almost. There's an expensive looking ring that's sitting in the top of the chest. There's a rod that's sticking out of it that looks like it's probably magical. There's a small shield. Like, there's a bunch of stuff in that box that looks pretty valuable.
Oh, I'm probably gonna regret this. Alright, I'm gonna go up and try to grab some of the stuff out of there.
Okay. What are you trying to grab?
Whatever I can.
The broken broom is sticking. I did tell you there was a broken broom in there, didn't I?
No, you
I'm gonna
said there was
skip
a
that one.
rod.
Okay, there's a rod, and then there's the biggest thing is there's a broom where the top of it is kind of snapped, like split in half a little bit. But you grab that, and it's basically was the first thing for you to grab because it's kind of sticking out of the box a bit. Nothing happens. You definitely feel something in the rod or in the broom itself, but it doesn't try to eat you. If that's what you were thinking. You hear the woman's voice though, and it's coming from the right, over your right shoulder, and she says, "I think I can hear you. Is he in here? Is he gone?
Is who in here?
Him? I don't know. The one who put me in here.
Well, what did he look like?
I don't remember."
Okay, well, so far it's just us in here.
She says, "And why is it still dark?"
I have no idea. I don't see you anywhere.
Make an insight check on Sarah, and Arteme, you can hear it as well if you're. I guess. What's Norik's kind of state of mind right now? Is he still fully there?
No, it kind of just if danger happens, yeah, but he's not paying super close attention. He's focused on danger basically. So
Okay.
anything besides that, he's probably never paying close attention to.
Okay. Quill is standing in the doorway. What's Sai doing, Fox?
She would have came in.
Okay. Go ahead and move her wherever. Okay. Was that investigation from earlier, or what was that investigation from?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was earlier.
Okay. Make an insight check on Arteme as well. That's a good roll. Arteme, the voice doesn't sound quite right. It sounds like it's supposed to be Elvish, so you're kind of picking up a little bit that it doesn't sound quite right. Like there's a certain tone to it that it sounds like a person doing a fake accent, an Elvish accent. So it sounds a little bit off to you, but you're still having trouble kind of placing just quite why. What
What
Sarah
about the
doing?
cloak on the bed? Like the shimmery cloak.
What about it?
I said I was gonna go and look at it.
Okay. What do you, I guess, look at it. Are you picking it up?
Yeah.
Okay. You pick it up, and the voice like calls out from. You're still hearing this, and then you realize it's coming from the cloak. And she says, "Oh, you found me? Are you letting me out? Like, please let me out. I've been in here for so long."
I have no idea how to let you out.
But you pick up the cloak, and it is very shimmering and green. It's very light, very comfortable. Like it feels soft and everything, but there's not a person in it. It's just a cloak. As far as I mean, it definitely feels magical. But in fact, most of the things, now that Sarah's had a chance to kind of like dig through them a little bit, most of the things in that box feel magical.
Yeah, by the way, I'm just grabbing stuff out one at a time and just putting it in my bag.
Let's see how many of these things try to bite back. You going through the chest. Then there's a red cloak in there, a red cloak with gold trim. There's a ring, and now that you're closer, you see that the ring has a little hummingbird. It's a like a design of a hummingbird on the ring. That rod has two like big stone blocks on either end of it, like a well, they're called ramparts, but basically like a keep wall. They're crenellated, and basically that kind of a style looks like a keep wall basically on both sides of it, like a big chunk of stone. It's heavy, but certainly magical. And then there's a small shield, too big for you still, but basically it's called a buckler. It's a style of a shield called a buckler. In there, those are the magic items. There's a bunch of stuff beneath them that don't appear to have any magical feeling when you touch them. But you know, there's 6 items in there basically between the 5 that you have in that box and then the cloak that Artemis grabbed.
I'm just gonna leave the rest of the stuff, and there's no like vials or money in there.
No coins at all, and no vials or anything that you see. The rest of the stuff that's in there has mostly rotted away. Like it looks like it was, you know, clothing and things like that. Make an intelligence check on Sarah. What's Artemis doing?
Trying to figure out the cloak a bit. So there's no one in the cloak, but the voice is coming from the cloak?
When I say there's nobody in it, I mean there's nobody wearing the cloak. Like there's not like a tiny person hiding in there or anything. But the voice is coming from it, and she's like asking you to help her. She says, just put me on and get me out of here. For that intelligence check for Sarah, you gather that your guess anyways is that this was the Zrimir, the Leshen. This was his like, you know, treasure room basically. So anytime that he would grab somebody outside and then shrink down, he would bring their things back in here. Whether he was killing them or not, you don't know, but you know, feeding on somebody, let's say, and then bringing their things in here and putting them, you know, in this room.
I would pass the cloak to Sarah and ask her to do an Arcana check. See if she could figure out if it's some kind of spell or something, and then go check on the weapon.
Well, I guess Sarah was going down towards the weapon rack?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll some initiative.
Oh, man.
All 3 of you actually might as well roll it.
But I touched the weapons already.
The second was...
What's that, Fox?
The second one's side.
Oh, okay. So she got a 15. Oops. Need this weapon rack to rotate. Oh, because I'm in mask mode. There we go. So against the far wall there, as soon as you get close to this, I gotta roll initiative for him too. So I got a 15. Quill gets a 15. And the rack, there's a +1. You got a 5. But as soon as you kind of step near it, the rack itself, the wood of the rack, reaches a pseudopod out and tries to grapple you, which you will have disadvantage on normally because it was a surprise attack, but because of your nimbleness, you'll have advantage, which makes it a flat roll of it trying to attack you. For a 22, definitely hits. You are grappled, and it did almost max damage. Shit. 18 damage on its first roll. So you are considered grappled. There you go. And stuck to it as it starts to pull you in towards its mouth. It can't actually make a bite attack because it was just an ambush, but you are grappled, pretty badly injured just from that first swipe. And you see it starting to kind of pulling a pseudopod out, and it kind of reaches over and grabs the glaive, the long spear, basically the axe, that it's going to kind of hold out in front of itself. What are you doing?
Alright. Well, now I'm just angry. Everything wants to eat me. So
It has pretty much been you that's triggered all of these so far.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use Shatter.
Okay. You being grappled, does that, what is Shatter, what are the components?
Oh shit, it's VSM.
Alright, so the somatic ones, somatic ones would be certainly limited. Let's see if you can still do them with grapple. I think you just have to roll them at disadvantage or something. Let's see. That one doesn't specify. Doesn't look like it does. I would say that it would probably give you disadvantage on the... Well, actually, that's a save, so it wouldn't even matter in this case. If it was an attack roll, I would say it'd give you disadvantage. But he succeeded anyways. He got a 19 plus 2 is 21 versus your 14. So what is the Shatter? That's just the save is just to do half damage or something?
I believe so. Let me double check.
3d8 thunder damage on a failed save or half as much on a success. A creature made of inorganic material such as stone, metal, blah, 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 has disadvantage on the save. He's not actually made of this, he's just pretending to be, so that wouldn't be disadvantage for the roll there. Go ahead and roll the damage. Alright, so it takes, what, 6? 5. The boom, though, is loud enough to kind of rattle this chamber, and I would say that Artemis probably make a... What would that even be to protect your hearing for a check? Or for a save, rather. Make probably a con save on Artemis to see whether you're deafened for the round or not. Yeah, I'd say you and Sai both would be deafened for the round. Sai for sure, just because she's close in the room and has big ears. Is that it for Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay. You did not try to free yourself, so he's going to chomp on you the next round unless you get out of there somehow. Quill, you hear him shouting and running in behind to try to make space. There isn't a lot of room in here. He tries to come around the corner to keep himself from getting picked up as well, and it already has a sword out and tries to swing at the weapon. Whoops. At the rack. There we go. Which misses. Sai's turn. She do anything?
She's gonna try and bite it to free Sarah.
There isn't a lot of space over there, so she's going to be kind of... Well, Sarah's getting kind of pulled in, so Sarah's probably more like here. Alright, so go ahead and use your distract. You're coming up, G. If you want to drop the distract on the weapon rack there. Alright, your turn. Ben.
Okay, then I'm going to see, since I don't think it'd be a good idea to start swinging around here, I'm going to try to see if I can pull Sarah free while Sai is distracting the weapon rack.
Just like trying to grab her shoulders and pull her away from the pseudopod?
Yeah, grabbing it and pulling it off of her, that kind of stuff. If I have to grab it too, I don't care. Just trying to free her instead of trying to hit the weapon rack. So while Sai's distracting it.
Okay. Pull someone free from it, I would say. Okay, I'll give you a DC of... It's going to be tough because she's basically she's essentially got an arm wrapped around her shoulders that's trying to pull her in towards the rack. And then it's got a glaive in its other hand that's poking towards you guys, trying to keep you guys away. So it's going to be pretty tough for you to try to pull her away from it or get the things separated. Plus it's adhesive, actually, so if you end up getting stuck to it too, it's going to make it even worse. Make a strength check, and the DC, try to beat a 16. Not with that. She's still being pulled in towards it. Any bonus actions? That was your action, so any bonus actions?
No, I guess I will just stand back and wait for an opportunity so I don't hit anybody.
Okay. Artemis' turn. Sarah's being eaten by a weapon rack.
I think I'm small enough to go here. And
Yeah, you can fit behind Sai. Sai doesn't take up very much space.
So I'm gonna fit here, and I'm gonna try and smash at the weapon rack with.
Okay. So Shillelagh is your bonus action and then attack.
Yeah, if I could find it, there we go.
Okay. Use the cast button as your attack under Shillelagh. 15 would hit. You have him targeted. Did it roll it from the right one? Okay, it did the damage. Okay, everything's good. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't roll
no, there's the cast, and then there's the damage.
Oh, that's right, because it's a cast. It's not a regular melee attack. That's why. Okay. Yep, but it hit. So you whack the kind of extended arm that is wrapped around the glaive that it's trying to swing towards you, but you managed to hit him. He doesn't free her, but you did hit him. Is that it for your turn?
Yeah, I'm gonna move a tiny bit away just so I can't grab.
Okay. It is going to provoke an opportunity attack.
Okay.
Okay. Then he is going to swing at you with the glaive, which actually, the range on that is really long. So I mean, you'd have to go quite a bit further to get completely out of range there. Total of 14 damage as he smacks you with the flat end of the glaive as you're trying to get out of the way. He immediately is going to swing at you that it's his turn. He's going to swing at you again before trying to bite, which also hits. Shit. You got 31 hit points in the matter of like just that last two swings right there of damage. You have 9 hit points left before you get knocked out. But he is going to pull Sarah in to bite her. Actually, hang on. He is not big enough to swallow. There are some of them that are big enough to be able to swallow small creatures, and halflings are considered small. But he's not the big enough kind to be able to do that. But he is definitely going to bite, which misses. So we'll try his second one, which hits.
Can I use shield as my reaction?
Yeah, I would think you can. You have the spell slots for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you're being pulled into the kind of toothy maw that this thing opens up just in front of you. But you throwing up shield just in time, it's basically raking its teeth against the kind of glowing blue sphere that you've surrounded yourself with, which is good because that would have been a pretty hard hit, actually. It would have been a little bit, well, it would have been piercing and acid too, yeah. So it would have been definitely a pretty hard hit. But that is it for his turn. It is Sarah's turn. What are you doing?
Alright, well, I guess I'll try to get myself out of this.
What is the grapple one? Let me see. Oh shit, he actually should have had advantage on the attacks against you too, because you're grappled by it, but it's okay. Let me find the thing for his grapple here. Stop, dog. Escape is DC 16. And ability checks made to escape this grapple have disadvantage. You have advantage when you're trying to get out of it, so it'll be a flat roll. So DC 16, flat strength check.
Ugh. Well, I guess strength isn't too bad on this one.
Well, there you go. You managed to kind of punch the pseudopod a couple of times to weaken it up enough to get it to release its grip on you. And it drops you. It had actually lifted you up off of the floor, but it drops you down to your feet, and you're able to kind of dart away or whatever you're going to do. So you've broken the grapple.
5, 10. Alright, I'm going back here.
You're going to get an opportunity attack on the way.
I know.
Alright. He's going to jab at you with his glaive with a 23. And he rolled max damage. Jeez, he got 8 and 8 and 8. Alright, that is it for your turn, or any bonus actions?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my inspiration, and I'm gonna use 2 of my hit dice as a bonus action.
Yeah, because you're down, you have 2 hit points left, so.
Yeah.
Alright. That was rejuvenate, right?
Yeah.
Alright, there you go. 2 hit dice as a bonus action, cool. That's a little better. At least you're not quite as beat up now.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
That if your turn then? That's your action was to break it. You don't have any bonus actions you wanted to do? Or was it rejuvenate?
it is a bonus action to
do
use
that? Okay.
as hit die.
Cool. All right. Then Quill's turn. He is kind of jabbing around the corner as best he can, trying to keep himself covered and not, get eaten by it as well. He actually hits this time. For his first. Minimal damage, but still something. What's I doing? Still trying to distract?
Yep.
You've seen this thing try to eat Sarah. Sai would be a very small snack, so just keep that in mind.
Right.
You can always resummon her, of course, but she could get swallowed pretty quickly.
But if she tries to move away, I would get an opportunity attack too.
Correct. And one hit would be, if he hits her, one hit would probably take her out.
Okay, she'll just stay there, I guess, for now.
Okay. She's still trying to distract then?
A tiny bit.
Okay, go ahead and put the distract back on her again. Or back on the, there you go. Alright, then it is Nork's turn. There is not a lot of room in here. There's a lot of bodies that are kind of taking up space, and you are, a bull in a china shop, so keep that in mind if you roll too low. The music is very quiet. There we go.
Is that a green cloak still in the room that was talking to us?
Artemis holding it.
Okay. Then I will ask her if I can take it from her. So.
Okay, well, I was gonna give it to Sarah before we got attacked, so here.
Okay. So I'm going to take the cloak, and I am going to. Well, I guess I'm close enough anyway, I'm guessing. But I'm going to throw it, on the rack, so, put it on him like he's wearing it. So.
Okay.
I'm going to put it over into the rack. Trying to cover the rack like if he was a humanoid, he'd be wearing it. I'm going to try to put the cloak on the rack. So.
Okay. I would say you probably don't even really need much of a roll to just kind of throw it over. Go ahead and make a dex check. Just some simple dex check. Just to see if it, kind of bundles up when you throw over it, or if it actually kind of covers most of it. Why is this music so freaking quiet? That's fine. Can you guys even hear that? It sounds like super quiet, and I have it maxed out on my side.
It's super quiet.
Yeah.
I can hear it, but it's not too loud.
Yeah, it's just really quiet over here. I'll just find another one. This will do. This might be super loud. Hang on a sec. Oh. Alright. That's better. Not quite the right tone, but that'll work. It's a little bit epic for a stupid mimic fight. But you throw it over. It's still moving. It's starting to kind of meander towards you guys even. But it's still it looks like it's you may have blinded it. You don't know. It's hard to tell because you don't see eyes. But it looks like it's basically the cloak is covering most of it. There was a female scream when you threw it though.
Okay. Then I will, if I can, for a bonus action, then I'll take it and put it on myself.
Well, you threw it over there. I mean, if you're going to try to take it back off of him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see if I can grab it off him.
I would say, so your action would have been throwing it on him. I would say that pulling it back off, he'll get an opportunity attack as you're trying to grab it and take it away. But you can do that as as an interact, which is essentially a free action.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Then he is going to try to jab at you with his with the glaive that he's got in one arm for a 16. Why did he have advantage on that? Do you have something on you that would give him advantage on the swing? I don't see anything.
No, I don't think so, because my Waning Frenzy, I think, is just skill checks or whatever, right? It's only one level, so.
Yeah. It still would have hit anyways. He rolled 2 9s. He got a 9 and a 9, and 9 plus 7 is 16, so it still hit either way. But I'll need to figure out why he would have had advantage on that. Because you're not grappled or anything, so. But did 10 damage as it kind of jabs at you when you reach over and grab it, so you have a kind of a stab wound in your forearm. But you yank the cloak away. You're not holding the cloak. You still have your bonus action.
Okay. Can I put it on as a bonus action?
Yeah, you can throw it over your shoulders. Yeah.
All
right. She's still screaming. The voice that's coming from the cloak is still screaming. All right. Okay. Artemis' turn. Fox?
Sorry.
Oh, good.
Am I still in range to use Shillelagh on it?
Yes, just barely.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Does it hit?
14. Why is it not? Oh, because, well, no, it still shouldn't be showing because you haven't targeted. His AC is a 16, so it does not hit.
Okay, so I won't do damage.
Nope. Any bonus actions or movement?
Am I still in range for it to hit me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna use Healing Spirit.
Okay. Do you have spell slots to use that?
Yeah.
Oh, you got, yeah, you did your natural recovery. Okay. Let me get your token. It's a little cramped in this little room. Go ahead and put her wherever you're moving her.
Right there. It should affect both of us next
Okay. It would get, because you guys, it can occupy the same space, so it will get Norok there too. Okay. Then the you'll be able to get all three of right there. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Technically, it'd be like, well, I would say like slightly down to the left, but you can't move it there because of the grid. So, but it's fine where it is. But you're all close enough that you can get all three of you with it. The rack is going to reach out and try to whip you with a pseudopod to try to yank you in. It is this. If this hits, you're in trouble. And it hits. That's a 13. This could be very bad news, because this is a 2d8 plus 3, and you only have 9 HPs left. Arteme immediately is knocked unconscious as she is being pulled in towards the towards this rack, and it is going to jab at trying to reach over her to jab at Norok with its glaive, which also hits for 10 damage. That is it for its turn. Sarah's turn. You see Arteme fall unconscious as one of the pseudopod grabs onto her and starts pulling it in the same way that it just tried to eat you, Sarah. Fox, would you roll the heal for Sarah? Oh, shit. Actually, your healing spirit went down when you went unconscious.
I'm gonna use the ring.
Can do what?
Her back. The ring of healing surges. I'm gonna use 2 charges. It says I can target a creature within 60 feet, and she can use hit die.
That is a perfect use of that. That's the first time you've really used it like that, isn't it?
I think I used it like that on her once before.
Okay. All right, so this you're gonna use it as your action then?
Yeah.
Instead of your bonus. If you use 3 charges, you could use it as a bonus action.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, I'll do that then.
Use all 3? Okay. Then in that case, Arteme, did you still have hit dice left, right? Yeah, you still have 4 hit dice. Okay, so you can use how many? How many is it, Becky?
It's just 1.
Just 1. Okay, so roll 1 hit dice. Fox, you remember how to do it?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so you have 6 health back. So you wake back up again as you're being yanked in towards the toothy mouth of this weapon rack that is trying to eat you. But you are back conscious again. For Becky, the ring gets 1d3 back per day, I think. So you basically could go back to full after a long rest. Okay, so it actually, so as soon as you have a long rest, it'll come back. Okay. Any actions then, since that was your bonus action?
Yeah, I'm gonna move up here and I'm gonna cast Firebolt.
Okay. Quill, as soon as he saw her go unconscious and start pulling in, he looking over his shoulder, he says, "We should probably evacuate." This is before you're moving up, but up to you guys. Okay. Mrs. He seeing all of you guys still. Are you going to try to be moving or anything?
Yeah, I'm just stepping back over to where I was.
Okay. He is going to try to slash specifically at the pseudopod to try to free Arteme. And he hits. Shit, that's enough. He slashes at the kind of liquidy arm that is holding onto you, and he hacks at it a good solid swing, and it splits down the center. It's still frayed, almost like a rope, but you're able to, when you kind of right yourself and stand yourself back up as soon as you come to consciousness again, it is not holding on to you anymore. He's basically split the line that was holding on to you. So you are freed from it, and as soon as he does that, he tells you to back out of here and see if you guys can either, bottleneck it or something. Basically, he's trying to get you guys out of the room. But there isn't enough space for him to get out, so he just backs up to the corner. He's going to take an opportunity, which hits. Didn't roll very high. That's good. Sai's turn.
She's just gonna stay there.
Okay. Norik's turn.
Am I in melee range?
You're in melee range where you would hit Arteme. Trying to swing past her or around her is going to be difficult. There isn't really room for you to move. You're kind of stuck.
I mean, am I in melee range of the
of
rack?
him?
Will he get an opportunity
Yes.
to act if I move?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
he would probably end up hitting Arteme instead, but he will try to hit you, yes.
If I disengage, will he try it all?
No.
Okay, then I will disengage and move back, and that way I can get out of the way. So, and then I can yell for everybody else to listen to what Quill said and get out of the way, and then we can focus better without everybody in a clusterfuck. So, I'm going to use my action to disengage, and I can't rage or anything. So,
No bonus actions?
Potion of healing. I'm guessing it's a full action, right?
To drink it yourself is a bonus action. To make someone else drink it takes your full action, but if you're doing it yourself, it's just a bonus.
I'm just gonna wait for now. Just get out of the way, tell everybody to get out.
Okay. Arteme's turn. Your staff is still covered in thorns, but your spirit, of course, dropped from the from going unconscious.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna try and smack it again, I guess.
Okay. 17, that hits. That's decent damage. So you whack it. This thing doesn't even, it still looks in good shape. But you did whack it and did some damage to it.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Bonus action, I'm gonna use Healing Word on myself.
Okay. There's your natural one. Right on form. Okay. Are you gonna try to move? You've got 10 hit points.
I'll
Oh, I gotta
try
cut your
and move
spirit
that.
off. Okay. Then he will take his attack for a 12. What's your AC, Fox?
My AC
Your
is
AC is 13.
14, I think.
It's 13.
Isn't it 14 with my armor? Didn't we put my armor back on? It should be 14.
Did you? Is it equipped?
Fully fine.
It shows that it's equipped. AC base is 11, so 11 plus your dex is 2. Yeah, it's 13. It's right.
Oh, okay.
But he rolled a 12, and your AC is 13. So you just barely escaped. The swinging glaive goes right over your head as you just duck down and back away. Sai is still within range of him, but you are able to, you can move further. Where you are right now, as soon as if he moves, he can hit you again. So you may want to go further.
Okay.
This is
I'm gonna go
combat.
here.
This is Skyrim travel music. All right, in the doorway, he can as soon as he moves, he can reach you. His range is 10 feet with that glaive. That's better. Okay, so I just wanted to give you as much opportunity to GTFO as you could use. So
Yeah, because now I'm out of spell slots and everything.
yeah. All right, so it is going to well. You know what? Because Sai is the only thing in front of him, he is going to try to attack Sai with a pseudopod, which misses. He got an 8, and is going to try to move forward. His speed is 15, 5, 10. That's as far as he can go because he can't fit through the door unless he shape changes again. So he's going to try to attack Sarah, which misses. He got a 12. Your AC is, I think, 16 with your mage armor up.
Yeah.
But he kind of stomps over Sai. Sai just kind of ducks down, lays flat on the floor as he stomps over her, and is kind of in the way now, kind of blocking Quillin as well. He tried to pseudopod and tried to attack Sai, so that's it. And moved. So Sarah's turn. You are kind of smashed in the corner there. You can still make it through the archway to get out, but he's going to have an opportunity attack.
I'm gonna disengage.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. So your action to disengage, where are you moving to?
25, 30, so.
This
Over
is
there.
Skyrim travel music. That's not fight music.
Yeah.
That's better. Okay. Any bonus actions?
I don't think I have anything I can use for a bonus action. No, because
Okay.
I'm out of second.
All right. Then Quill's turn. He's kind of shouting to you guys from in here. He's going to try to hack at it, which hits. He's getting a little better at least. All right, Sai's turn.
Okay. Does he have an opportunity attack if he's no longer looking at her?
You don't really know. In general, they would still have an opportunity attack for 360 degrees, because I do use actual facing rules. If they were kind of ignoring a target, or at least not concerned with him as being a threat in this particular case, he's kind of moving towards you guys, then you would guess he probably would not be trying to opportunity attack her.
Okay, she's gonna go hide in this little cubby.
That's yeah, assuming that she was going backwards, I mean. So.
Yeah, she's just gonna go backwards and hide in the little cubby here.
Okay. Then Norik's turn. So it is basically coming towards the doorway there. It's not moving very fast. It's basically like one side moves and then the other side moves, and then so it's moving kind of slowly, like an old school monster movie.
All right. And I'm targeted now. Good. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can smash him now that everybody's out of the way.
Okay.
But first,
Going great with Master.
Might as well.
Okay.
All right.
And Reckless.
And if it hits, I'll add an extra damage dice to it with my Fury.
Okay.
Okay.
It does. Got a 20. That's a d6 that you're adding.
Cool.
I think. Are you using your axe?
Yes.
Yeah, then that is... Great axe is a d6, yeah. Ooh, you got some shitty rolls in there. That sucks.
I know.
Still 20 damage, still a good hit. Mostly because the modifier is 14, so...
Alright.
He is looking bloodied now, actually. Just now.
Okay. Then I will... might as well try it. Great weapon again for my extra attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one misses.
Okay. And, as a bonus, I'm going to sip take a drink of one of those,
Healing
potions,
potions?
because I can do it myself as a bonus, right? You said?
Correct. Yep.
Sweet.
So change the parentheses, change it to a 1.
Cool.
A little bit of
Did
roll.
I get him or me?
You healed him, yeah. So.
Damn it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh no,
And
13. There you go.
And I will call it good.
Okay. Artemis' turn. You can see that basically that whole wall is rotated in, so you still have an angle that you can still hit him.
I'm gonna try to use my short bow.
Try to use what?
Short bow.
Okay. You sure you don't want to use your new whip?
Not until I examine it more, thank you very much. And it's not on my weapons thing, so...
Yeah, I don't know why that thing disappeared again. I'll see if I can add it. Let me find it again.
Darn it.
That misses.
Okay, I'm gonna move back over here.
Okay. Any bonus actions?
Nope.
Alright. try to add this back to your weapons again. All right. Do you see it? Well, it might take a second to appear, but you should see it at the top of your inventory again.
Yeah, I see it in items from my inventory, but not the top, so it's technically there, but not.
Okay. Oh, well,
Does that make
still-
sense?
Yep. It's in there twice now in your inventory, so let me remove that. Oh, hang on. Maybe that part wasn't on.
Okay, in my items I have potions. In my inventory I don't. So
Yeah,
I was
don't
looking at
the
wrong-
ones on the actions tab. That's how many you actually have.
Oh,
um,
okay. I'm gonna use one of those as my bonus.
Okay. Change the parentheses to 1, and then what'd you?
I'm just laughing at Becky.
Shut up.
All right. That was your bonus action, and you did your action and your movement. Is that it for you then?
Yep, that's it for me. And yeah, now it shows up.
Okay, good. All right, so that's. Hang on, I think I'll check the dice on that just to make sure that that's correct. I think it is. And then the 1d4 if it's a fleshy target. Remember, if you hit something that's fleshy, it'll do extra damage. And that's down in your items under your actions tab. All right,
Okay.
it is going to try to pseudopod, try to grab Norok. Okay. Oh, he does have advantage this time because you recklessed. So that one's correct now.
Yes.
It does hit. You are considered grappled, and it did 10 damage to you. It is starting to pull you in. The DC I think was 16, wasn't it? We'll check it again. But when it's your turn, basically, you'll get to try to escape him. But he has advantage on the swing against you now because you're grappled. For him to poke you with the glaive.
I use
Well,
my
guess
endurance if
he
it
would have
works.
had advantage anyways, actually, because of the
'Cause I was
because you're
grappled.
reckless. Well, because if you're reckless, so. But
Oh, yeah,
but there's
that too,
there's no
yeah.
super advantage. So, but this one also hits for another 11. You're getting pretty torn up. You've got 16 hit points left, G. Like you don't normally get this low because you're not usually not raging. But
Yeah, exactly.
But he basically grappled you and then jabbed you with the glaive. Your tribal endurance, you still get your fury after that too, right? For your retort.
Yeah, I still get a hit.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
This one's really quiet too. It hits.
Sweet.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this is the bad time to be rolling so shitty.
It is.
You like one more hit could knock you out. Like you realize that this might be the first time you've ever gotten knocked out in the game, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. All right, Sarah's turn.
Alrighty.
You saw Norok get smacked with a pseudopod that is trying to pull him in. Norok is looking pretty badly beat up because he's been stabbed a couple of times with this with a glaive that this thing is swinging around.
Okay, well, I have nothing left that'll heal him, so can I see the weapon rack?
Can you, as far as the angle, yes, you just barely have a kind of a 3 foot wide window between Norok's shoulder and elbow and the rack.
Okay, if I go
Oh,
and
you know
like
what? It didn't
look
move.
between...
Actually, sorry, it would have moved actually. So it would have moved to here. So you actually have a better angle, anyways, where you were.
Okay, I would say if I go and like look through Norok's legs, so I have a good view.
The way you worded that question, I'm not going to answer it.
Like in between his legs.
But you do have an angle where you can try to hit him. Yeah. Hopefully without hitting Norok.
Oh god, alright, well. I'm gonna use Chaos Bolt.
Okay.
Son of a...
No.
Oh, this is bad news.
Oh yeah, that was my last spell slot too.
Well, the special effect
I
of that, we're not going to. It's a nonsensical one, so we're not going to do the special effect. But you did just try to fire between Norok's legs with a spell and rolled a natural 1. And Norok only had 14 hit points left, I think. Wait, hang on. Why do you? Did you heal or something, G? You have 29.
Yeah, I did my tribal endurance.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I got
you
5
have,
back, I think, from
all right,
that.
so you have 21 hit points left. Go ahead and roll the damage, but I mean you can guess who you're going to be hitting with it. Just hope you don't roll above 21. Untarget the rack.
Oh, whoops.
Okay, well hang on, let me take that back off. Okay, all right, it's fixed.
Um,
But that 9 is going to be hitting. It's not going to jump. Which damage type is it? I don't think it'll matter actually.
It's the first die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's poison damage.
Okay. That's funny, actually, because... oh, never mind. He's not resistant to poison damage, so... Norak, you just got blasted in a very sensitive spot by poison, by a poisonous chaos bolt from Sarah. That is... no bonus actions or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Quill is still trying to hack at this thing while it seems to not be noticing him for 21, which that's a good hit. He got a 12 damage to it. It actually, he brings his short sword down into the back, like the back frame of this thing, and you see it split open, and this kind of the shimmering viscous liquid is pouring out of the back of this thing. It actually looks pretty badly injured now. Still moving, but it does look like it's close to dying. Sai's turn.
She's just hide.
Just staying? Okay. Then Norak's turn. You are still grappled, so you'll have disadvantage trying to hit it.
Okay.
Then you have 12 hit points left, since Sarah decided to hit you with Chaos Bolt.
Alright, let's see what I can do.
This is... You try your extra attack?
Yep.
Okay. That hits.
Yay. Yes.
You got lucky there. This thing's still kind of wrapped around your shoulders. You just try to bring your axe down through the center of the rack, and it splits open in the middle, and the pseudopod that is wrapped around your shoulders just kind of melts off, and you have this disgusting like viscous jelly-like liquid on your shoulder as it starts to slip off, and the thing stops moving until it kind of melts down into a puddle, and the metal weapons kind of clank against the walls as they fall. He is toast. All right, there we go. The cloak that is like it's too small for you. You can't really wear it. It's just kind of thrown over your shoulders. You feel like it would probably adjust. That you could probably adjust the size of it, but otherwise it's a little bit too small for you. But it's still screaming, and she screams, "Is he gone? Is he gone?"
Yeah. We hope so.
She's quiet for a minute. You hear like sobbing, like she's crying. What are you guys doing? Sarah grabbed all the things out of the box, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, wait, so Sarah had grabbed weapons from the weapon rack. So what happened to all the weapons once the rack was destroyed?
They're laying on the ground.
Okay, I'm gonna go check those out.
Okay.
So am I.
Carefully.
Go over there.
They appear inanimate, but they are very shiny. In fact, they are like gleaming. Ben. Oh, I think he put it in the channel. If you want to reply to him.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke it with the edge of my staff.
Okay. Just poking the weapons in general.
Yes, poking all the weapons in turn with the.
I'm using Mage Hand.
You guys are so paranoid now. It's like these things, come alive and try to eat you guys. But you poke all of them, and they scrape across the floor. They sound exactly like they should. They look like they should. They look like very well made weapons, but still just weapons.
Okay, I'm gonna check them out, see if any of them are magical.
Make an Arcana check. They don't appear to be. You don't really pick up any arcane electricity coming off of them.
Okay. I'll put them in the bag holding for now. I guess they'll be good for the other people that need weapons.
Sure. I'll put that in my notes here.
Unless Sarah wants any. Or Norok.
What all is there?
There is that glaive, which is the main thing he was using. There's a broadsword, which is a bit small for Norok. And then a few short swords, some daggers. And then there was a net. There was a big net that he didn't use.
probably just grab another dagger.
All right.
Okay. Oh, in my ingredients, do I have enough to make a few potions? Health potion? Or do I not know how to do that yet?
It's a pretty simple recipe. Like you would definitely know how to make it. It would just be a matter of wild sage root, and then basically you can find it pretty easily. I don't know if you actually have any right now. I'm looking for right now.
I don't think. I think when we were looking for some, I ate them.
Yeah, like when you
So-
were finding them in the desert, Sai was eating them. So I don't
Okay,
know if
so-
you. Go ahead.
I think I had found a bit. I fed it to her and I kept a bit, so I could maybe make one potion. And so I'll make a note, and when I go hunting, I'm gonna look for some.
Okay. All right. So Sarah has picked up the stuff out of the box there. There were, not counting the green cloak that is thrown over Norok's shoulders, there were 5 items that felt like they had some magic to them. The broom, a different cloak, a red one, a ring, a rod, and a buckler that you took out of the chest. And Quill's looking around like down on his haunches, like kind of scraping at the liquidy stuff, the kind of gelatinous goo that's on the floor that he's kind of sifting through a little bit and looking at it. What are you guys
Did
doing?
you say the broom was broken?
The tip, the handle of the broom is snapped at the end.
Was there the other piece in the chest?
No, it's not broken off. It's like split down the middle a little bit, basically.
Okay, can I use mend on it?
So you cast mending and you pass your hand over to try to get it to kind of snap back together, and it won't go.
Okay. I tried.
You would know too, just intuitively, that mending doesn't work on magic items. It only works on mundane items.
Okay, so basically the broom is definitely magical.
Yeah. All 6 of those, the 2 cloaks, the broom, the ring, the rod, and the buckler, are all magic.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Sarah to see if she could identify them because I'm horrible. That's
Quill is still kind of down and sifting through the goop. He says, I mean, we probably have the time. It's up to you guys, but I mean, I know that'll take you a little while, right?
Yeah, don't I have to do it during a short rest?
It takes you an hour, because it takes you an hour and 11 minutes, I think, each one, right? Because you have to cast it as a ritual.
Yeah.
Identify is ritual, and it's 11 minutes, so yeah, an hour and 11 minutes to do for each item.
okay. How long is a long?
A long rest, you guys would, like, I mean, you could take one down here, but without proper bedding and everything, you wouldn't be able to really get a long rest. You'd need to go back to Dun Scathak first. That's 8 hours.
Okay. Right. Okay. And short rest is. Can't we do like a 4? No, that was the chance thing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you guys could take a short rest to do it, but even just by, if you roll high enough on an Arcana check, I'll give you a general idea of what you get a feel for what each one does. If you roll too low, then I'll either give you bad information or no information, depending on how badly you roll. For the 2 of you, Norok doesn't have familiarity with magic items enough to get too much identification in for something like this. Maybe the buckler, though.
Yeah. No, it's just because we're completely like spent spell slot wise, and to try and get into another fight or do another fight at this point, it would be.
Yeah, but we do need to finish clearing the rest of this place out so people can start using it.
Yeah, but we have part of it mapped out. So if we take a bit of a rest and come back and finish the rest.
Quill kind of nods. He says, by my account, it's probably going to be dawn soon up top.
Pretty much.
I mean, we definitely need to have this place cleared out as soon as possible so that the refugees can bring their wounded down here. I mean, it seems as there's at least enough room for that. Maybe some, for the women and children as well. But the sooner we get it cleared out, the better. But we're no good if we die down here.
There's the hallway over where the dogs came from. Is there a room that way, or is that the room?
Well, Norok closed that door, so you guys didn't really look around the corner to see. But there was a hallway that goes to another door back there.
Okay, so there's that, and then there's the other doors in the other hallway.
Well, we
Yeah,
know
there's-
where one door attaches to this.
There's one, so I'm gonna go ahead and reveal this this hallway, the hallway that was open where the dog came through, the wolf, because there's another door there that's kind of close by where you guys are already that you would have basically seen. So there's a door right here.
Okay, I'd say we quickly check that room out, put the right side of this place off limits for now, and get the people in here, take a bit of rest, and then finish exploring. Because if we're doing it this tired, there's no telling if we're actually going to make it.
Sure.
That's the plan?
Fine with me.
All right. Arteme, your staff, the vines and the thorns have begun to fall off the sides of it. Time-wise, your
Yeah.
mage armor's still okay. But yeah, you guys are in pretty rough shape, and you don't really have means of like fixing that. So, so you're just being careful and trying to check that door over there.
Yeah.
All right. What's Norak doing?
I am going to just stand guard, make sure nothing else starts moving.
Oh, what happened to the green cloak?
Norak is still wearing it over his shoulder, and you guys hear it weeping. It's crying.
Okay, so can Sarah check that one first because it was actually, if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
But
Like,
we have to take
just-
a short rest.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you
okay.
can do an Arcana check anytime you want. If you roll high enough, I'll give you, you know, some information about any of the items. You could look over all of them in the span of a minute if you wanted to. Just, you know, if your rolls aren't sufficiently high enough, you're not going to get much information, or I might give you bad information.
Alright, let's give it a
I'll
try.
see if I have any luck and I'll check out the buckler.
Sure.
If Sarah will let me.
Well, it's just because like that one was talking, so if we could get more information out of it or whatever, we could check the rest.
Okay. Arcana check on the cloak then, on the green cloak.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. The color of it seems to shimmer a little bit and change depending on the light source that's on it. You get the impression that it would be really helpful if you were trying to hide while wearing this thing. If you're trying to be stealthy while wearing it, it would probably give you a good chance of staying hidden. That's the kind of enchantment that you gather from it. You don't pick up on the reason that it's talking.
Okay. I would suggest maybe not putting it in the bag of holding, just in case.
Yeah.
I was
Actually, a
curious if
person
you
in
guys were
there.
gonna try.
Oh,
So-
that was my thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Fox doesn't probably know this, but the inside of a bag of holding is a negative space. If you put
Yes,
something,
you had explained it because I
okay.
asked if I could put certain things because when inside was hurt.
yeah.
I asked if the bag holding would be a suitable place to put her, like to keep her safe, but you said it was it's like a black hole with it has a certain amount of spots in it, but
Yeah.
it's pretty big. So,
Yeah,
Well, not only that,
Ozzy
she
said
would
not
die.
to put anything
Yeah,
else.
she
Yeah,
would
living things don't go in there, right?
and
Yeah.
living things don't go in there, which
Yeah.
is okay. Yeah.
She'd be plenty safe if you put her in. She would just be dead. So
Well,
probably
now
don't-
I could maybe put her in because she's technically a spirit.
Well,
but I still
so-
wouldn't tempt.
You know what? I'm not gonna explain how that would work either, because there's something else that if you merge two pocket dimensions, things don't go well. So
Yeah, well, Ozzy told us that it would
Right.
explode.
yeah, exactly. It'll explode and kill everybody. So
That would not be
if you guys want to end the campaign, there you go. That's how you do it. That's instant suicide for everyone, and Quill. So, anyways, but that's what you've gathered from that cloak. It's still crying. It's like sobbing and crying. It sounds scared, but it doesn't. It's not talking. It's just crying.
I'll talk to it and say that nothing else is moving so far. I think you might be safe. Why are you crying still?
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage on Norak. I think you'll have disadvantage because you're exhaustion anyways. But
I think so. But
natural one. So
ah,
you had a 1 and an 8. So you dropped the 8. So she's not responding. She's still just crying. It's quiet. It's not super loud. Like it's not going to give your position away or anything like that. But right, what is Zordame trying to check that door?
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing?
Checking for a lock or anything, so I still have the key.
Okay. It doesn't appear to be locked, but the door... Sorry, it doesn't appear to be... well, the doorknob doesn't turn, but it does have a keyhole in it.
Okay, I'm gonna try the key.
Okay. You pop the key in there, and it's still like pretty solid, just like the door was the previous one. But you do feel the click when you kind of push it back, and you go to turn the doorknob. It does it does turn, but it feels like the door's kind of jammed shut.
Okay, well, since Nark's still keeping guard, I'll ask Quill, turn to Quill and say, hey, can you push on?
He just nods. He says, "I'll give it a shot."
Okay.
He's pretty strong. Yeah, so he kind of just jams his shoulder up against it, and the door pops open. As soon as this door pops open, if I can find which room that is, that's M. As soon as the door pops open, another green flame brazier ignites, and it reveals against this wall. Basically, you see a bunch of levers sticking out of the wall. There's a whole bunch of them sticking out of this box, like straight ahead. You're like profile looking at these levers, and on the far side, like facing you, there's a golden. You know what a bust is? Like a statue, like a bust. You know what that is?
Yes.
So like head and shoulders basically of a crowned human man sits on a stone pedestal across the room from you. Like the whole thing is solid gold. It looks like just staring at you from across the room. But it looks like a royal bust, like a crown on a human man's head. And then with all of these levers sticking out of the wall here, let me reveal the room. There you go. That thing sticking out of the wall there, that's where the levers are. The statue is basically across, so if you were standing right here, you would see that the statue would be directly across from you on the far wall. And then there's a door to the top left of it, but there doesn't appear to be anything moving in the room. And there are cobwebs and broken boards and things like that, just other broken things in this room.
Okay, I'll gingerly try the door.
Door does not open, and it feels like brick solid. There's no doorknob, no nothing. Quill has come into the room and is kind of looking at the levers there. What's Norak doing?
I'm gonna check out that bust since it's gold.
Okay. It is pretty, like it's not even tarnished, and gold doesn't really tarnish over time, but it doesn't look like dusty or anything. But it's basically just a human man, obviously royal. Quill looked at it and took note of it, and then is looking at these at the levers here. But when he sees that you're kind of looking at the statue there, he says, "I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be King Caradwig." That's the name he tells you. What's Norak doing, G?
Just keeping an eye out on stuff, making sure I don't see anything move every time. Well,
okay.
I guess he doesn't know about his lip. He's just standing by the door. Okay. That one right there that he's at.
Okay.
Sure nothing moves.
Quill is staring at the levers sticking out of the wall there. Let me get back to my notes here. There they are. He says, I've read about 100 different Mephuan contraptions such as this, but I've really always just wanted to see one in person. And he looks over to the right. He says, "What does this say over here?" And you see against the wall to the right of it, kind of between the statue and the levers, there's a plaque that's kind of, it's not even really a plaque, it's just so old and aged. It's basically in the wall itself. But there's a very long, there's, 12 lines, like a very long poem almost written into the wall there. And you notice that actually when you look over your shoulder to see, over his shoulder rather, from where Sarah is, the levers that are there, there's a box in the wall, and there are 8 there right now, and the bottom left, where there should be a 9th lever, there's just an L-shaped socket.
Okay. Can I read what the plaque says, or is it too worn down?
No, it's all legible, and it's actually written in the formal sense, so you can get most of the words. I would tell you, go ahead and make an intelligence check on Sarah. That's enough. Between you and Quill, you get that it says, the lever wrapped in leather is beneath the wooden lever. The lever wrapped in paper is between stone and bone. If the clay is beside the brass and below the one of glass, and the lever wrapped in cloth is above the one in grass, and the iron's the center and the bone is on the right, and the lever painted black is the left of the one painted white. If the bone and stone and clay are not adorned in any way, and the paint is at the top and the white's above the cloth, and the brass is at the bottom and the stone's beside the brass, the lever wrapped in leather is the lever made of glass. And the king, and then below that there's a space, and below that it says, then a king will know the answer, the king is very clever.
Can we get that in writing for one?
Yeah.
You think you might need that? You think you might need some notes?
I made it to the lever wrapped in, and then I just stopped.
Oh my gosh, that was like, okay, I followed a bit, but then it's like, wait, what?
Right. It is. I'm gonna drop it in Discord for you guys. This is gonna be a complicated puzzle, so you know you're gonna need to kind of take your time to figure it out, probably.
Okay, I would say we mark this room as off limits. It doesn't seem like it's dangerous. The other room's locked. So this would be 2 areas off limits, but the rest of it seems now relatively safe unless that other creature comes. Oh, okay, this is complicated.
Here, I'm gonna. You know what? Here, I'll just do this. So there's a socket in the bottom left. Basically, you see. Left to right, you see 3 levers, and then 3 more below that, and then below that, there's just 2 with an empty socket on the bottom left that's L-shaped. Like something needs to go into that to make the 9th lever. But looking at all of them, they look blue and translucent. They look like there's kind of this faint glimmer coming off them, like they're being hidden by something, like they're being hidden by some obfuscation magic, basically. So you can't you can't see differences in color. They all look the same.
They all look the same. You have to put them in a specific order, and you have to put the key in, but the key is also needed for 2 doors at the very beginning of the slab room. Okay, so complex puzzle. We don't know if we're going to be able to take the key out once we put it in. We still need the key for 2 other doors. The Lushan might come back, so we can't really get people in here, but we need to get them in here before they all die, but we can't keep exploring without dying ourselves.
It's almost like I made this thing complicated for you guys. Like I didn't give you guys easy answers to figure out.
Oh no, it's fine. It's just... we definitely need to rest somewhere.
You
That's
guys
fine.
can... You can... What?
I'm gonna take a closer look at that bus, though.
Okay.
Does it look like there's anything weird with it? Like,
so looking closer at it, I wouldn't even make you make a a check for this because it's really obvious. It's a statue of a human man. Obviously, it looks like a Mephuan king, and certainly that's what Quill told you. He seems to recognize the man immediately. But the bust is basically from like shoulders up, and there's a hand at the bottom of it that like as if he was holding his hand against his chest, but you're not seeing the whole arm, you're just seeing the hand because it's only from the shoulders up basically. So kind of over his chest basically, he's got his hand against his chest, almost like prayer, the Pledge of Allegiance. I know you silly Canadians don't do that kind of stuff, but Pledge of Allegiance style, like hand over the heart type of thing. But only 2 fingers are extended, so he's basically holding like a peace sign almost. With his thumb and other 2 fingers underneath against his chest.
does it look like the bust is like easy to move, or does it?
No, it's
like
pretty
a-
solid, and it looks like it's pretty well attached to the stone. Like the stone probably comes up inside, and the gold is just over top of it. Quill, in looking at it, he says, usually from the ones that I've read about it, at least that would give you kind of a clue. So I'm guessing the 2 probably means we just have to figure out what are the 2 correct levers to pull, and then pull those 2 levers. But if we pull the wrong ones, that could be a problem.
Okay, so how do we dispel to actually be able to see the levers properly?
He says, I'm not one for the arcane arts, but I mean, generally these are pretty solid and old magics anyways. So, I mean, not that we couldn't find somebody to do it, but in time, that's really the question. We might be better suited just by, understanding its riddle and pulling the right levers. So you have a grid of 3x3 basically. There's 1, 2, 3 across the top, 1, 2, 3 across the middle, 1, 2, 3 across the bottom, except the number 1 on the bottom left is empty right now. It's just an L-shaped socket. It does seem like that key would fit in there, that L-shaped key.
You said bottom left is empty?
Yeah, bottom left is empty, and it is the same L shape as that key that you guys found earlier. I can give you a little table, actually, it might make it easier. 3x3.
Yeah, maybe.
Alright, I mean, this isn't going to help much because I'm really only showing you, the kind of layout of it, but I'll give you an idea, I guess, of general idea what you're looking at. So, if each of those boxes was a lever, there's a lever in all of those except the bottom left where it's labeled it as empty. So they're in a row like that, in a grid. And you have to find the ones that are gold and pull the 2 that are gold. There's 2 of them. Only you can't see colors.
Okay,
And I gave Becky a clue earlier. Do you remember what that clue was, Becky?
Crap, probably not.
The L-shaped key that you have.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember that. It's made out of clay.
Okay. So that should give you a place to start from.
so that would be clay. Okay, so this is magical. We know it's...
I have the order
Okay.
in front of me, so as you guys are figuring it out, I can...
I'm gonna use detect magic
Okay.
because it's gonna tell me which one is stone, metal, lead, wood, or dirt.
Where first do you have spell slots left? You used all your spell slots, didn't you?
No, it's a ritual. I'm using it as a
okay.
ritual.
Alright, so you're gonna cast take the 10 minutes to cast?
Yes.
Alright, where is that? Detect magic. Did you have it prepared?
No, it's a ritual.
Yeah, but you still have to have it prepared, unless it was in your ritual book, your Find Familiar Intenser's floating disc.
Oh no. Okay, I thought I could do ritual. Okay, no.
No, just the ones that are in your book. Which technically, I
okay.
suppose, if you were to find a scroll, you would copy the arcane version, not the divine version, but if you were to copy it into your book, then
Okay,
you could.
never mind then. That was an idea. It would have told
It's
us
actually a really
something.
good idea, because I didn't realize you could do that, so it would have actually helped quite a bit. But you would need to need the rest first. What, G?
I was just going to say, when Sarah and Arteme are checking that out in Quill 2, did they read that stuff out loud about the levers and everything?
Yeah.
Are they talking out loud?
They
Or
definitely
are
would
they
have.
just doing this to themselves?
Well,
I would have
because-
definitely said detect. Like I'll try detect or did. Okay, but I can't. Yeah, I would
But
have probably said it out
Quill-
loud, but I can't.
Yeah, you'd need the spell slot for it, but Quill and Sarah definitely read that whole thing out loud because they were he was helping her with some of the words.
Okay, so if Norak heard them, then he will think, okay, well, if we're trying to figure out what these levers are made out of, I have a magnet. It only magnetizes to metallics. So I can test which ones are metallic and which ones are not. It won't find gold because gold's not metallic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that
But-
there's potentially there are metals that are not magnetic. So,
I could find out, possibly eliminate a few to find out which are truly metallic and which are not with the magnet.
Has anybody attempted to touch any of these yet?
No.
Because Quill hasn't, but...
I wouldn't have yet, just because there is like a magical thing, and I don't want to accidentally move any.
Okay. G, then would Norok have gone in there and tried to use the magnet to see if he could get a feel for any of them?
Because if he heard everybody talking out loud and stuff, he's going to say what he just said. Well, I have a magnet, so we can see if any of them respond to that, and we could see if it's iron or steel, or well, I guess steel did exist, but see if it's iron or something like that at least.
Okay.
If it'll respond.
Okay.
So.
All right, then. I mean, you go in there with your magnet and hold it out towards it. Only one of the levers has any kind of a magnetic pull, and it's the one in the very center.
Okay.
Do you touch any of them?
No, I was just holding out the magnet to see if it moves any of them over each one carefully to see if any of them respond.
Okay. Yeah, the only one that responds is the very center.
Magnetic?
I don't think so. But that would be for us to determine.
Well,
so.
yeah, make intelligence checks.
So
if you're asking that out loud, if Artemis asking that out loud, make intelligence checks.
Because Norak's going to say he's not sure, so he'll try to roll.
You said it only did the center one?
Yep.
Well,
only the
center
Is
one
center.
is
that very
iron.
center? I think, yeah.
Is iron, because it even says the iron's the center.
Okay.
Quill tells you no, brass is not magnetic.
Okay.
Iron is.
Okay.
And I say, well, I'm out of ideas, guys, so I'm going back to my post. I've done my part.
Well, he did just confirm that the iron is the center, if that helps you. And then if you were to put the, well, since Sarah says, that one is, that the L-shaped key is made out of clay, that would give you the bottom left if you were to socket it in. You guys understand how to figure this puzzle out, right?
Sort of. I'm just trying to figure out, like, which ones have to go, and so it's a square.
Yeah,
with
it's a grid.
different
It's a
spaces.
3x3 grid, yeah.
So it's a 3x3 grid, so we need to put them in specific places, but we don't know where any of them are except for the one current.
You know what? Because you guys know a couple of things now. All right, I'll update that grid for you if you tell me, Sarah. It sounds like for Becky, it sounds like you figured out where a couple of these are. So clay is in the bottom left and iron is in the center. Are there any other marks you want me to make on here?
I want to say that the bone is on the right next to the iron, but I don't think that's right.
Okay.
Hang on.
I'll give you the clay and iron so far then. Alright, so we know that much. And I will tell you that that's correct so far. There's more information though. There's kind of a second piece that you guys aren't getting so far that will make this more complicated. So once you figure that out, then I'll adjust that too. There's basically another note that would go in those boxes as well. You notice that they all numerous of them mention that they're wrapped in something. Or painted, etc.
And you're saying that the bust is absolutely immovable.
It doesn't appear to move at all. The stone pedestal is pretty solid, and the gold is just a big chunk on top of that.
So there's 9 in total, but the poem is kind of confusing because of the way it's laid out.
Yeah, it's intentional. Quill tells you that, yeah, they would do that on purpose. This is probably Caradwig's work. The Mephiwins always prided themselves on their obscure means of locking things. If I had to guess, I'm guessing that this door, once we get through it, will probably lead outside. And if we're lucky, it could lead far outside.
My guess is the 2 levers we have to pull are going to be either paper, the painted black, or the painted white, because the wrapped in leather is made of glass. And all the others are stone, brass, and clay, iron.
Quill says we should probably be really sure, though, because these traps are intended to be dangerous.
Alright, well, says the iron's the center of the bone's on the right, so I'm guessing the one just to the right of the iron is made out of bone.
Anybody want to touch it? Anybody want to try touching these things to see, you know, if they might feel like certain textures? That's Quill. Like Quill's saying, like, I mean, I don't mind doing it. Just watch my back. Hopefully I get out of here with both hands, but as long as I still have my right hand, I can still write.
Certain things might feel different if you scrape it with a dagger or something, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Try touching it first.
Uh,
I mean, as long as we're careful not to pull them, the wrong ones, that I think would be okay.
I'll use my dagger to gently, like, tap on.
Okay, which one are you tapping?
Okay, we got iron and clay. Okay, I'm gonna try the one on the right of.
On the right of what?
On the right of the middle, which is the right of the iron.
Okay. You're just tapping it with your dagger? You're trying to touch it with your fingers? What?
I'm gonna tap with the dagger once and then gently touch it with my.
Okay. You tap it, and it feels like there's something in the way, but there's a clinking sound. It's definitely metal under there.
Okay, so that's supposed to be bone, so it's definitely not
Then you're touching it with your fingers as well?
bone. Yeah.
Okay. There is twine wrapping something around this, and it feels crinkly. It's starting to fall apart in your fingers. Whatever was covering the lever is starting to, like, fall apart. It feels like paper.
Feels like paper.
Which one did you touch?
The one in the right center, to the right of the iron. When she tapped it with her dagger, it felt like metal. It clinked like metal, and there was a covering over it, something that was wrapped around it. The twine is still there, but the stuff that was wrapping around it felt like paper. It was falling off.
Okay, so that's paper. Okay, well, I would say that one's probably paper.
Okay, so the wrapping, now that the lever isn't paper, but I will, just for simplicity's sake, I will put in parentheses what the wrapping is. So you are now here. I guess I could put metal with an asterisk so that we know that it's, so you know that it's like there isn't one that's just metal, but you did have that clue, so there you go. Quill shouts over his shoulder. He says, Norok, any more ideas?
No. Oh.
He says, I think we're getting there, and we're making progress.
Okay, I'm gonna do the gentle tap and touch test on the rest of the one at a time.
Okay. Top
Starting
left.
with.
I'll give you some information. It won't be all. There's some things that tapping your knife against is not going to be able to give you a lot of information about. I'll tell you that the top center and the bottom center both feel like actually, top center has a clinking sound that sounds like it's probably metal. The one on the bottom has like the wrapping around it is fibrous, and when you tap it, it feels like there's probably metal under that. It's hard to tell. There's an odd clinking sound on the left center one, but the wrapping on that is really thick. And then the others, it's like clinking against, you know, a more like a stone, basically, for the others.
Okay. I'm gonna use my knife to scrape a bit.
Where?
The one below the middle, like middle.
Okay. Bottom middle, you mean?
Yeah.
Was that
You
yes?
said there was something a bit fibrous?
Yeah. So that
Okay,
one,
so I'm gonna try and see if that's the one on the grass.
that's what it feels like. You scrape it with your knife, and bits of it fall off in your hand. You can't see it, but it feels like it's like blades of grass.
Okay,
And beneath that, it
so
feels like it's metal.
the metal grass.
Yeah, so I'll give you that.
What about the one to the right of...
The bottom right?
Yes.
It doesn't feel like there's any kind of wrapping on it, and when you tap against it, with your knife, it feels like it just clicks right off of it.
Clicks right off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
doesn't feel
touch
like
it with my
metal.
hand to see if it feels like bone or anything.
It feels smooth and not porous. It's hard to tell. Like between, so you know that there is that you haven't been able to identify yet: wood, glass, bone, and stone. And it could be wood, bone, or stone. It's hard to tell. It doesn't feel like glass.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the middle row.
Where?
The left of iron.
Okay.
Again, I'm gonna tap, scrape. If the tap doesn't give me anything, I'm gonna scrape and then gently use.
Tap doesn't give you much of anything. It feels almost soft when you tap against it. Like the wrapping of this one, like it's wrapped in something that's a little bit soft. When you run your fingers over it, it's got a, I would say, you know what? I'd tell you that it's a familiar texture, but make an intelligence check to see if you would recognize the texture without any other, you know, context clues, without being able to see it, etc. What's Sarah doing?
Alright, I'm gonna try and touch the, what's that, top right.
Okay. It feels very smooth, but with your... Make a perception check on Sarah.
It's gonna be with the left hand,
Okay.
so I can actually feel it.
Yeah, not using your mage hand to do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you did use your chaos bolt, by the way.
I know.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were, you know, remembering that or not. It feels ever so... You rolled really well, so it feels ever so slightly porous.
Did you say
Slightly
porous?
what?
Yeah, porous. It's smooth. There's no wrapping that you can feel, and you feel tiny little holes in it. Porous.
Okay, is that for me or Sarah?
That's Sarah. That's top right.
The top right would be bone?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it feels like bone.
Okay, what about mine?
That one, the texture feels familiar, but you're having trouble placing it. There's no, like, you can't smell it, you can't see it. That's where you're at so far. You can feel the twine that's wrapped around it, and because it feels slightly soft, read through the clues and tell me what you think it might be. And then if you guess it, then I'll tell you.
I think it might be either leather or cloth. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna borrow size senses and try and...
Try to do what?
I'm gonna borrow size sense of smell and try and sniff near it to see if I can detect... Because cloth and leather would have a bit of a different scent.
They would, but this is 2,100 years old or longer, and she's sniffing the air. She can't really pick out any smell to it. It's just long since faded. But I'll go. I mean, you gather between the two anyways that it's leather. That's as soon as you basically read over the clues and see leather. Oh, well, leather's one of them. That's what that feels like. It's just you know, we're having trouble kind of piecing it together because you know, without being able to see it and everything. But it's a familiar texture to you. So like you gathered that it was leather. You guys do get that I'm putting parentheses. Those are wrappings and so on.
Yeah. Okay. So. I'm gonna look at the top.
Which one?
Top left.
It feels very smooth. Does not feel porous. There's a tinking sound when you tap your knife against it.
Tinking sound.
Yeah. Not like metal.
Okay, I'm gonna check the one to the middle then.
Top middle.
Yes.
Tinking sound, but sounds like metal.
Okay, so that leaves wood either top left or bottom right,
Let's check out the bottom right.
and
Bottom right.
metal in the another metal in the middle top.
Bottom right feels smooth, definitely not porous. It feels like worked stone.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with wood and top.
Top left.
If that's stone, yeah. Top left would be good. Stone would be the bottom, and then some kind of metal. And
Let's see, so that would leave.
Read over the clues, like Fox.
Well,
Between
the-
both of you, you guys have all the answers you need. Like if you just start reading over single lines of them, you'll be able to fill in the rest of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, the brass is the center bottom
Okay, why do you have that?
because it says clay's beside the brass. And if the key is clay,
Okay. Keep reading. I'm updating Discord as we go, so you guys can keep your current status of them in there.
upload brass.
You'll be getting spammed in Discord actually, so.
okay, but we don't know which one's painted black and white. And
The black is on the left.
when I did the scrapings, did I get any kind of paint or
So-
anything on my dagger?
So you didn't. Well, if you did, I guess I wasn't specifically thinking of trying to scrape off the paint. If you were to attempt to do so, you might be able to, if you were to pull it enough away from this, the magic was not there anymore, be able to potentially see a color.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
Okay. What are you trying to do?
Let me. I'm trying.
Which one?
I'm gonna do middle.
Which one? You cut out there. Middle what?
Sorry, middle top.
Middle
The
top.
middle top. Yeah.
Okay. You scrape your knife against it, and you do feel a thin layer of something coming off of it. You can't see it, but you kind of drop it into your hand and feel it. And then when you back away, it is a very pale paint, it looks like.
Okay, can I tell the color or?
Very pale. It's so old and aged, it's hard to tell. It definitely doesn't look black.
Okay, that's probably white. So that would be
Black's-
metal.
What were you saying, Becky?
I say the black is on the left of the white. According to what the black said.
Okay. So do you want me to mark the wood as painted black? look
I'm
at the
gonna try
chart that I dropped in
scraping
there.
of that one.
Okay.
try
Scraping that
scra-
when you back away, that top left one is painted black.
Okay, so yeah, mark that.
Okay.
I'm gonna touch the one made of iron. Does it feel like it's got cloth on it?
It does.
Okay.
You guys didn't try to touch that one yet. You just, Norok had identified it with his magnet. So it's got twine, and there's something wrapped inside of the twine. It's actually starting to rot and fall off as you touch it, but it does feel like cloth, or at least that it had been cloth. Okay, updating again. There you go. So you have.
It's hard to go up and down to scroll.
Oh, for the clues?
Yeah.
Can I? You know what? Here, I'll drop the clues in. Well, you're not in our balance channel. I'll drop it in the regular D&D channel for you. So that way
Okay,
you
like
can
I
switch
wrote
it
it down
channel.
too, but my writing's not always the best.
Alright, well, here you go. I'll drop that in the D&D channel here, and then you can just flip between the channels to be able to see both for all the clues and where your current status is. That work?
Yeah.
clay is. Yeah, so brass. You said brass was the center bottom, right?
Yep. Yeah, you guys figured that one out, and then it's surrounded. It's wrapped in grass.
Stone. Alright, well then there's only two that we don't know what kind of metal they would be, and if we have to pull two gold.
Oh, right, the leather
would
is
assume-
glass, right?
Yeah, so it would be
Yeah,
the white
so-
and the paper, we don't know what the metals are.
I was curious how long it was going to take you guys to realize that you actually already had the answer. You've had it for a while. As soon as you identified which one was metal and not gold. But Fox just got what the last one is made of. So you guys don't have all the wrappings, but you have essentially figured out what each one is made of. So Quill kind of looks at Sarah, looks at Artemis, says, I mean, I think it's probably right. If we pull the wrong ones, this could get, especially the shape we're in, this could get really risky, but it's up to you guys.
I think it's worth a shot.
Artemis, you on board?
Hang on, so right now the bone, stone, and clay aren't adorned. Okay, so that's good. I still feel that we're missing something.
Quill says, I mean, it's usually process of elimination with these kinds of things. Sometimes they do, little animal symbols and things like that, but, I mean, this one, it seems like it's mostly just following the process of elimination, and it sounds like we've identified what all of these are, except for which ones are gold. Which, of course, is the only answer we need.
Okay, so we need to figure out if paper's gold or white is gold.
Well, we need to pull two gold, so they're both gold. Because according to the statue, he's holding up two fingers. So
Quill
we
does
need to
not.
pull two.
He says, the last line says the king will know the answer. The king is very clever.
So we pull both of them. You want to grab one and I'll grab the other? Pull them at the same time?
Fox?
I'm just rereading it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out which way we need to pull them now.
They're all in an up position right now, and they all look like they would pull down if you chose to.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out from if they're actually in the right order.
Alright, Sarah's gonna do something that's probably awful, but she's gonna tell you guys, if you want to get out of the room, you better go now, because she's gonna use her left hand and her mage hand and pull them both at the same time. You got 5 seconds to
Quill
get
just-
out of the room if you want to go.
Quill grins at you. He says, "Oh, that sounds like a brave girl. I'll step back here."
I'll stay here, I guess.
Okay.
I'll pull them.
All right. You grab which ones? Tell me specifically which ones you're grabbing.
I am specifically grabbing the center top and the right center. So
You
the
reach-
white metal and
Okay.
the paper metal.
Okay. You reach for that top center, and it's like 4 inches out of range.
Well, that's the one I'm going to use the mage hand on.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Okay. And then you're using your left hand on the right zone, the right one, right center.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you grab both of those and pull them both at the same time. As they both kind of slip down easily. Like there's very little resistance. Not the kind of expectation you'd have in here with this place being so old. But both of them slide down, and there's a clicking sound from around the corner, and nothing else happens.
Ron, The little hall corner.
Yeah, in that room just
Yeah.
around the corner from you.
Go check it out.
I'm gonna peek through the.
You come rushing in the room in front of Sarah after Sarah unlocked it, presumably. The door, there's a door there that doesn't have a handle on it, but that's where you heard the clicking sound come from.
Push it open.
Okay. As soon as you put your hand on it, it kind of slides back and then up and out of the way. It's like batwing doors of the. What is that car? The one from the DeLorean, like the batwing doors of the DeLorean, like lifts upward until it's like upward towards the ceiling, and you see this room here, which actually let me find my map here. That is P. There's a thin draft that's coming through this room, and you immediately you've been in this kind of long kept and decrepit place for quite a while now, a couple hours worth, and that draft that you immediately smell the smell of ozone from outside. There's this thin draft coming from the far side of this room, and it looks like there's a tunnel, like a thin corridor that goes off for a long ways. But the smell is coming from there, so somewhere far off in the distance, there's a breeze and that's pulling air out of this tunnel like a vacuum, like a low pressure vacuum that's sucking air out through this place. And Quill immediately starts sniffing the air. He says, "You smell that? That's got to be ozone from the thunderstorm outside. I mean, this could be perfect. If we need to, we could use this path to get outside and potentially behind the siege lines as the Legion decides to surround Dunskathak." He says, "Pepperjack's for sure going to want to know about this. We should follow it and see where it surfaces before we report back."
Yeah.
Okay. Stick.
Yeah, no, I don't like taking too many risks, but I'm also extremely curious.
Oh no, is that a barrel?
There is a barrel in the room, yes, and a couple of braziers.
Let's check it out.
Stand in the corner and have Mage Hand touch it.
You poke at the barrel, and it rolls slightly and starts to fall apart. Like it starts to collapse in on itself. The wood's just old. The tunnel, though, I'd actually edited this map, but I must have loaded the wrong map in here. The tunnel is right here. That goes back.
Okay.
I guess toss up some dancing lights and head in.
Quill shouts over. He says, "Big guy, I think we've got this. Are you gonna try to come out with us?"
We just leave Norok behind. We're like, bye.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's just leaning against the door, napping. He's had a rough day.
Alright.
Okay, so we're gonna have 4 doors to check out after.
Let's see. As far as the ones you guys haven't looked at yet, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4.
Okay, so we would put that door
Actually,
off
5.
limits. 5.
Well,
Where's
there's one in the
other
room. The room that you guys are in. There's a door right there too.
Oh, okay. Well,
It
let's
kind of
check
goes
that out
back towards the
before.
others, anyways. But
Okay, I'd want to check that out. Doors here, right?
it is. Yeah, it's right by Sarah, exactly.
Okay, I
But
want to
Quill,
see where that goes first.
He says, I mean, we certainly can, but if there's something, moving on the other side of that, we should probably just close it and, leave it there until we can get back in and, have the wherewithal to be able to deal with it. Sound
Yep.
good?
Mhm.
Okay.
Because if that just the
What?
other way, we'll have one other door. Left.
You know what? Shit. Never mind. I told you there's a door there, and there's actually not supposed to be. My edited version of this map, I had put the tunnel there and changed that. That's not supposed to be a door. So never
Okay, so so there's only 4 doors.
Correct. Yeah, there's the doors that are earlier on. This one on the original map, that is a door there. Like you can tell that it looks like a door and everything. But I changed it. I'd made that a wall, and then put the tunnel on the right. But I must have loaded the wrong version or something.
Start heading down the tunnel.
This hallway is going to be off limits.
Okay. Until you guys come in to deal with it later. Remember the you do have an actual military with you too, so they could potentially come in and deal with these things as well. You guys did the kind of initial scouting for the most part.
Okay, so this hallway is going to be, and this door is going to be off limits for now until either us or military people could go and look.
Sounds good. Quill makes a note of that. He says, we'll make sure to report that back to Pepperjack as well, because remember he was mapping the place for you too. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
he was keeping track of where stuff is. He says, I like that idea. So that's keeping them safe. So the path, you guys heading down that path then?
Yep.
Okay. It's a long corridor. Basically, a minute or so. I mean, a minute of walking is a long time. You know, when you're talking around like this subterranean kind of thing. But you're walking down this long path that starts to wind, going left and right, and kind of it's hard to keep track of what direction you're facing. Artemis probably would have it automatically, but you know, it's otherwise would be somewhat difficult. But the hewn stone walls, like these carved walls, like intentionally built, begin to give way though to these kind of rough cavernous ones, and then not long after that, the path opens up into this big wide cavernous pit. And there's an old wooden suspension bridge that used to span this gap, but the wood has long since just rotted away, and the rope that holds across is barely hanging on. Like if you put any weight on it, it's probably gonna fall. But this chasm is about 50 feet across and maybe 40 to 50 feet deep.
Okay. I would be writing down like how this tunnel goes as we go, just because that's direction. But
it doesn't branch at any point, so there's no like you don't basically as long as you follow the path. You can only go backwards or forwards basically, so that you don't have to worry about getting lost.
That's fine.
It's just, but it does kind of meander left and right, so you'd be going north for a ways, and then east for a ways, and then kind of southeast for a ways, and so on.
Well, no, because I'd have put like entrance, and then just like and then try to figure out from the entrance of where we came in and where we're going to try and figure out where we're exiting.
Sure.
That sounds a bit complicated, but
No, I
you
get
get
you.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so direction-wise on where we're to give us an idea of where we would pop up. I'm thinking we can't jump that, or we can't easily jump that.
You definitely can't jump it 50 feet across for sure.
Okay, did I have time to look at the green one?
The green cloak?
No, the whip.
Oh, I mean you can take them, you know, whenever you want to.
Okay, I'm gonna try and look at it to try and make sure it's not actually alive.
Okay. How? I guess. How are you wanting to determine whether it's alive or not? Do you remember how it felt when you touched it?
Yeah, it kind of felt like the stickiness of the chest when it tried to eat me twice.
Yeah, feels similar to that for sure. But less sticky, and when you hold on to it, the longer you hold on to it, the harder it is to get it off your hand.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do, I guess, an Arcana check.
Okay.
Arcana is not my best thing.
Definitely not with that roll. It does not feel magical at all.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Sarah to look at it.
Sure.
A quick question: where does the path come out in relation to this chasm? Like, how big of a ledge is there?
There is a little bit of a ledge. There's probably 8 or 10 feet along the outside. It doesn't cross though. Basically, it's just on left and right of you. There's a small ledge where the bridge is kind of built onto for a small ways on both sides, but it doesn't go all the way around.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna stay like close to the wall as I can.
Okay. In looking over the whip though that Artemis shows you, it does not appear to have any magical enchantment to it at all.
Okay, so we already knew it wasn't really magical, so that it's not magical. It doesn't really seem to be. Can I do a survival check to see?
To see what?
A survival check or something to see if it's alive or nature.
How would I do that? Let's see. Go ahead and make a nature check.
Okay. What is the range on that whip? Because I'm seeing some information, but no.
The one that I had to drag over again is probably the incorrect one. Let's see. It is a reach weapon.
Because, like, for my cantrip whip, I see the range, but for the braided green, I don't see a range, and when I go to one of them, all I see is numbers I really don't know.
Yeah, that's not the one that I had edited since I had to pull it back over and recopied it. Basically, it's 25 feet is the range. It wouldn't normally. It normally. Well, you didn't spend much time actually playing with it just yet because you were like afraid to touch it. But when you snap the whip normally, it's only 10 feet. But as soon as it reaches the whip crack part, something something inside the whip itself is snapping back out further, another 15 feet, and kind of snapping the air like it's trying to find something, and then snaps itself back inside again, like a tongue. I'm telling you, it looks like a tongue.
Okay, so it's 25 feet. My thrown whip is 30, and the chasm is
50.
50. The best I could do is sun. I'm like, okay. The best I could do is maybe Sunseye over on the floating disc, but that's about it.
Can you? I don't think you can make it go 50 feet away from you, can you?
No, 30 feet. No, so I can't even do that.
I've got 50 feet of rope if we can figure out how to get it on the other side.
You'd still have to, arm over arm, try to climb across a rope across the chasm. And I don't think that would support Norok either.
No, and...
Norok's pretty much got a nap like this whole episode.
Camel and
Norok, are you at the edge of the pit there? Like, are you out there, or are you staying in the hallway?
How big is an Onrush?
An Aurochs? Huge.
It wouldn't fit in that cavern.
It wouldn't fit in the tunnel.
Okay,
It'd be too
Camel
wide.
wouldn't fit either. Hyena would fit, but wouldn't really be useful. I've got nothing.
Where's Norok at, G?
Probably just standing back if I can. I'm assuming I fit the tunnel and I'm by the edge of the chasm with him, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's. I was just asking if that's where you were. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of just still walking around.
Make a perception check on Norok.
Okay.
So basically, we need something to get across.
In just kind of being a little bit bored and looking around, Norok, you looking down at the base of the pit there, it's a long ways down, and it's hidden in shadows, but there's something moving down there. It's not moving very fast, but it is moving.
Okay, I will gesture to the team, quietly tell them if there's something down there. Kind of whispering, just enough for them to hear me. So.
How deep is the cavern?
Between 40 to 50 feet down. It's not level. It's not flat on the bottom.
I'm going to send down a dancing light. It's 120 feet.
Okay. You send this glowing orb down, and as it gets kind of in range of this thing where Norok pointed to you that it was moving, it illuminates a huge, disgusting, fat maggot with like claws in its face, and it's kind of wiggling its way across the floor towards your side of the chasm. It was on the far side, in a corner. You feel like you probably woke it up, and it's moving towards your side. Slowly. Go ahead and make a nature check on Arteme. Norok and Sarah would never have seen one. Yeah, you don't recognize it either. None of you recognize it.
Oh, sorry, that was memory.
That's fine. It was still intelligence. Oh, I guess
But
nature.
my
never mind.
modifier
Yeah,
different.
for nature is better. Yeah. Okay. That's a little better. You've heard of these before. You've never seen one before, but it's basically that. It's a very large maggot that eats dead things, and it's probably been comatose down here for some time because you don't see any. You see a lot of bones down there. In fact, you recognize with that nature check, you recognize bones of dire wolves down there, which are not around here anymore. They've long since been gone, for many hundreds of years, and bears and some other animals down in
Okay,
that,
so
like, dead
basically
animals
huge
pit.
predators, so somebody was feeding.
Yeah, that's the impression you get.
Okay.
The other side of the
these
tunnel,
are
by the way, is
dead.
wider, and it's a cave. It's not stone anymore, and you can hear the
Okay.
rain coming from it.
The only thing I could do to help would be to use jump. I wouldn't be able to use it for everybody, so we'd have to figure out a different way for people to get across. Probably.
You don't have it prepared either, do you? Did you
No,
prepare
I
it?
don't.
Yeah, so you'd have to rest
It's
first
not
anyway.
currently prepared, so I'd have to rest, but I don't have spell slots, so I need to rest to get the spell slots. So either way, it's...
Quill looking down at that thing, he says, I don't like the look of that. I mean, I've seen a lot of really awful things in this war already, but I don't think we have really the wherewithal to deal with that when it starts climbing up this wall. Maybe we ought to, head back for now, and we can come back with some reinforcements and get some engineers to rebuild this bridge for us.
Yeah, so can't we take a long rest and have, like, Nebish and Nadir rebuild it? Because they rebuilt the wall.
You remembered their names?
Yeah.
I did. I have it
Inspiration for
written down.
Sarah. Definitely inspiration. Not you guys never ask names, but at least if you know a name, then you can remember it, right?
I'm really horrible with names. I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's
Nebish and
specifically,
Nadir.
yeah, it's specifically that you guys never introduce yourselves to anybody, so you're always just rude.
I'm not used to introducing myself.
I know, I'm just kidding, anyways. But Quill, suggests anyways you guys could head back because like you can tell that the other side of this goes to the surface. It'd be nice to know where it comes out, but maybe if you go back, get some rest, come back with some reinforcements. One, you can deal with that thing in there. He calls it a carrion crawler, is what he calls it. It's a necrophage. So do you guys know what necrophages are?
Not particularly.
A necrophage is a biological term for an organism that eats dead flesh, and that's what that thing is. He calls it a carrion crawler, which is a necrophage.
So it's not like some birds to where they prefer dead meat, but will still eat
Yeah,
stuff that's
exactly.
live.
Vultures will eat live flesh if they can get it, but they will totally eat dead flesh. Those are just like scavengers, essentially, like hyenas and so on. But a necrophage only eats dead flesh.
Okay, so unless we die and end up down there, we don't really have too much to worry about at the
Well,
moment.
let's clarify because Quill says, yeah, that would be true, but I'm pretty sure those claws on the front of that face, I'm pretty sure they're intended for killing. I mean, if it kills us and then we're dead,
Yeah, and it would be starving at this point, so yeah, better
I mean,
to go back.
they usually have the respect to not, eat you before you're dead, but it doesn't mean it won't make you dead first.
Yeah, but it would be really useful against that dead army.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think about that, but I mean, they are kind of slow moving, and they're just big fat maggots, like a 15-foot tall maggot. So they probably the Albashar, for example, not the Mortrillis, but the Albashar would probably just eat it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to go up to try and touch it, to charm it either, so thank you very much.
Do you have to touch it to charm it?
Yes!
You do?
It has to be a friendly creature and you have to touch it.
Really? Because I don't think I used that when we were going through that tunnel with that worm chasing us. Because I used charm, I didn't touch it.
Oh,
What worm are you talking about? Are you talking about the purple worm in Balance?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
but I
didn't
have
touch it.
Beast Bond and Charm Person.
Yeah, her spell is Beast Spawn. That's a druid version. That one's different.
Oh.
The charm creature or charm animal or something like that. Which one was it you used? Do you remember?
Charm Person I could do from a distance.
I think it was
Charm
But it
monster or
has to
something?
be
creature.
30
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
that one probably.
I don't
is
have
good
that
range.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they were. She's talking about our in Balance, the other campaign that we finished, and that one they were probably level 14 or 15 at that time. So.
Oh god, no. I wouldn't have that.
Alright. I guess head back and go get some rest.
Yep. And from like the map that I looked over from Quill and then little notes I made, I could maybe figure out if hang on, we could hear the storm, but can we feel
Can you feel the what?
the wind?
There is a very slight breeze that's being pulled through here, and I mean, you being familiar with some kind of nature physics, feel that there's since you guys opened the front door, basically, there's a vacuum being pulled through here. You've kind of created a negative space here, so it's a slight breeze is being pulled through the whole place that you just went through, and is being sucked through. So you're feeling a very slight breeze coming from that, yes.
Okay, so we're theoretically across the bridge is pretty much the exit.
That's what you would gather, yeah. You can't see any light from it, but the dawn, it's not quite dawn just yet anyways, and the sun would be coming up over the mountains too, so.
Okay, so with a sense of that, when we go back, I'm going to look at a bigger map of the area. I'm going to mark off where the entrance to the labyrinth was, the entrance to the tunnel, and how far we went with the turns, and try and mark off a general idea of where.
Okay.
That way there, if it's closer to camp, we could go in through there.
I will tell you that
slightly-
that the distance that you guys walked, with it kind of winding left and right and everything, you're sure that it would be outside the outer wall of Dunskathak.
Okay, so we're still better off in going in the other way, checking the door, sending military personnel to the right, civilians to the left, bring the twins here with a bit more ranged reinforcements, kill the maggot, get the bridge repaired, and then
Kill the maggot.
explore the left.
Quill kind of nods. He says that sounds like a plan. You're really, for being conscripts, you guys are really thinking like crow blinders.
Well, that's my idea after rest, so. But I will do a druidcraft to try and see what the weather will be.
How far out does it tell you? 24 hours? What's that?
Yeah, 24.
24 hours? Okay. You can feel... It's hard. It's much harder to pick it up down here below the surface. Make a nature check. And Norok and Sarah both make perception checks as well.
Perception? Okay.
Arteme, you just nature. Norok and Sarah, perception.
Really? Not having much luck today, am I?
It's okay. It's enough. Like you can tell that the storm is going to stop soon. Like you knew that before you even came below the surface here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's. I mean, you know that it's early in the morning already. It's like probably 5:30, 6 a.m. right now. So the sun will be dawning soon. It's just going to take a couple hours to get up over the mountains. But you feel like the storm has kind of used most of its power already, anyways. That it's going to kind of burn itself out soon. It's still going to be a very muddy day for sure, and there will probably be a light drizzle. But it'll be cloudy and just and overcast basically, but not raining so much anymore. Enough though that if you get some help down here, the Wiccan children, for example, that they can, assuming they've had enough rest and are willing to help. Of course, you can get them to help rebuild this bridge, or just do it the old-fashioned way. But Norok and Sarah both, as Arteme is kind of licking her finger and holding it up in the air to kind of sense where the wind is coming from, trying to sense if the weather's going to be calming down anytime soon. The motion that you were kind of staring down in the pit towards this giant maggot where your dancing light is kind of covering it, and the dancing light being that far down in the pit is shedding just enough on the far side of the pit that you see reflection of a pair of eyes on the other side, where the other side of the bridge is. And you look up and see the light catching the eyes of something very gaunt and very sickly looking, humanoid and intelligent and alive, and staring at you with just ravenous, enraptured hunger, staring at you on the other side of the pit.
On the bottom or on the top?
On the top, the other side of the bridge. If the bridge was still there, you know this thing would be diving for you right now. It looks starving, and the image is very unsettling because it looks like it's so near death, and just you have immediately the sensation that this thing wants to tear into you.
I'm gonna immediately send my dancing lights up there to get a better look.
Okay. The light illuminates the shape of a very sickly and so near death human, where the head is falling, or the hair is falling out, or has fallen out in batches. There's just little bits of it still stuck to a skin stretched over bone, kind of a skull. There's almost no muscle definition left. It looks like a walking skeleton, but it's still alive, and it's staring at you and like scratching at the post of the bridge on the other side, like trying to. You can tell that it's trying to figure out some way to get over to you to try to bite into you.
Would I be able to toss food at it?
It's 50 feet
Probably
away.
not a good idea to feed it.
But that's actually where we're going to go ahead and end for tonight's session, anyways,
Okay.
because it is 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
it
probably
is-
shouldn't feed it.
Well, I mean, you, in having heard a little bit about what these things might be, that's for sure one of the Albashar. Do you remember what those are?
Aren't they
Yes.
dead carnivores or something?
They're not
No,
dead.
they're alive.
Yeah.
That's those things that ate that town we were supposed to go to before we went to the Mia town.
2 different towns. Yeah, they ate all the people there. They are, so the Vabians, basically, when they sack a village, they take all the villagers there, the ones that they don't kill, and they force them into this peasant army where they never feed them. They don't give them any weapons, they don't train them, nothing. They just don't ever feed them. And as they die off from starvation and everything, the others eat them, because it's the only way for them to survive. And then they release this peasant army, the Albashar, on the next village they attack. They let them attack them because they're ravenous, and what else are they going to do? So they just, as they die, they eat their own fallen, and they eat the villagers of the ones that they attack. They're basically the shock troops.
Okay, so maybe feeding it is not a good idea. I didn't mean to feed it us. I meant like feed it actual food. But maybe it wouldn't want to eat us after. I don't.
Yeah, no, it's still going to be hungry and then it's going to follow us.
So that's where we're going to go and leave off for tonight.